CEO in AT&T's over 140-year history. In a conversation on Bloomberg, she talked about what diversity, equity, and inclusion means to her.
Diversity is just simply a reality of the modern world, right? Every generation that comes forward becomes more and more diverse. There are many different dimensions to diversity. Equity is just about fairness, and inclusion is the topic as to why I wrote the book, right? Inclusion means widening your perspective by including everyone that is in your ecosystem, everyone, to have better performance.
Zhao's new book, Lead Bigger, The Transformative Power of Inclusion, is about how to leverage inclusion beyond checking boxes. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Working as a dedicated Fidelity advisor, I always ask, what's important to you? I'll look at those priorities and goals alongside your full financial picture to build a comprehensive plan designed to help grow and protect your wealth. With proactive portfolio insights and an eye on taxes, I'm here to help you make the most of your money. I'm Laura Maxwell, and I'm a dedicated Fidelity advisor. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE, SIPC.
Member Week is here at Lowe's. Don't miss your chance to get up to 40% off hundreds of items like paint, faucets, vanities, doors, and more. Shop our exclusive deals happening in-store and online now through July 18th. Not a member? Join My Lowe's Pro Rewards for free today and get ready to save more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect that of the staff and management of Good Karma Brands, but are the sole responsibility of the host and guests of this particular show.
America may have many, many days, but they will be full of trouble. There will be no rest. There will be no tranquility in this country until the nation comes to terms with our problems.
Bringing you social and political commentary from his mouth to your ears, breaking down the issues which matter to you.
You are not put here to be a white man's footstool. You are put here to represent the very best in God's word.
Legendary civil rights icon, the Reverend Jesse Jackson in the studio. Reverend Jackson, how are you?
Mr. Sherwin, good morning on this chilly Milwaukee morning.
And I am pleased to have one of the founding members of the Black Panther Party, Chairman Bobby Seale. Mr. Chairman, how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing just fine, thank you.
From Mr. Eric Holder. Mr. Holder, so good to see you. How are you?
Well, I'm fine, man. How you been? It's been a long time. Haven't seen you for a while.
The Dr. Cornell West. Dr. West, how are you, sir?
My dear brother, you're so kind, you're so generous, man, but I salute you and the work that you were doing there. Doing a magnificent job there in Wisconsin.
Stream live on 1017thetruth.com. Call in with your questions or comments. 833-212-1017. Join us on social media at 1017 The Truth. It may not be what you expect to hear, but I will definitely give you what you need to know. Are you ready for the truth?
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Sherwin Hughes.
Good morning. Welcome to the program. Today is a sober Monday, July 14th, 2025. It seems like this past weekend was several weekends, if not several months worth of tragedy wrapped up in a very short 72 hours. We lost some legends in several different regards. Those of you who are familiar with Black Talk Radio and have been familiar with it for some time have heard the voice of Miss Rose. She was probably, with no hyperbole, one of the fiercest community activists this city has ever seen. She was everywhere, all of the time, even through her 80s. There would be days where I would see Miss Rose at several different community events. One might be at the Shorewood Library, the other might be at the Atkinson Library. Some of you met her at our Beyond the Mic events last year. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think she missed one. And here's the thing about Miss Rose. She didn't drive So if you saw her multiple times a day, and some of you did, if you saw her at community events, if you saw her at Beyond the Mic, she took the bus. We were made aware of some health challenges that she had earlier this year, but people like her, they seem invincible. She's just someone who's been so ubiquitous with our talk radio platforms and our community events and our engagement. She's always had this wisdom that dates back 50 and 60 plus years and gives us a perspective on how far we have come as a city. But the thing about Miss Rose, she was always there. Oh, she and I had some famous arguments on the air, but that was because she is passionate about her beliefs, and she is going to be greatly, greatly missed. We didn't cover this particular incident when it took place because of the very sensitive nature of it. So last Monday, an also very popular man on the Milwaukee hip-hop scene, a guy named John Kuster, took his life. He jumped off of the roof of the Trade Hotel, which is just a horrendous, horrendous situation. And the tributes to John are now starting to go out. In fact, there is an article written on him. His obituary was published by the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. We also shared that article in the Hughes Views Facebook group. This tale of two cities is not fantasy nor fairy tale. It is fact. We had our Beyond the Mic on Friday. It's the only one I'm doing, at least the only one I'm doing this year, and probably for good reason. It was so good to see everybody. Thank you guys for coming out. We gave away a bunch of stuff. People won. One table won pretty much all the prizes, but it's always good to see the people and interact with the people that make the job that we do here, 101.7 The Truth, worth our while. So I'm always glad to get together with folks and hang out in a fun social environment. But we were supposed to have Beyond the Mic at a place called Tropic on Water. Friday night, Mr. Antoine Hogan's was killed 1 block away from where we were supposed to have our first Beyond the Mic. Because we couldn't get all of the details sorted out with Tropic on Water, we ended up going to Mr. B's instead. And we were very, very far away from the horrendous happenings of downtown Milwaukee late Friday night and early Saturday morning. And my goodness, I'm glad that we were. So Tropic on Water it's an African-American woman-owned bar, restaurant, lounge on the 500 block of North Water Street. Element, where O.G. Tweezy was killed, is on the 600 block of North Water Street. Now, the time overlap probably was a little bit different. I have my Beyond the Mic events, really any event that I do, early. I can't be out here late. If I'm out late in Milwaukee, I'm somewhere tucked away and I'm hiding away from all the nonsense. I'm old enough to know what kind of nonsense goes down on warm summer nights after the clock strikes midnight. I know better than that. So I have my events early. But one of the things that we were wrestling with in planning our Beyond the Mics for this year is we wanted to have them in places where there are other things to do in the vicinity. And Mr. B's is isolated. There's not a whole heck of a lot of other social activities out there really on that end of the city. And so it was considered, but it wasn't at the top of the consideration list because we wanted people to actually go out and have a good time, especially if people that are meeting each other at our Beyond the Mic events decide that they want to go somewhere and hang out afterwards. Well, we were considering Tropic on Water, but that did not work out, and I'm glad that it didn't because 1 block away, shots rang out. And I can only think about what would have happened if any of our attendees at an event that I attach myself to, that this radio station attaches itself to, if anybody would have been hurt or worse. Yet another reason why I'm not doing any more Beyond the Mics. I can't guarantee anybody's safety in this city. I wish that I could, but I simply cannot. I want to go through some details of exactly where we are, and I also don't think that the situation we find ourselves in after a horrible, horrible, tragic weekend. A 7-year-old child was abducted in broad daylight. You all know there's more to the story than that, right? You know that. And I don't want anyone to think, I don't know how much detail I want to give because I don't know if that's my place necessarily, but do not think for a moment that Amber Alert was delayed or stalled because that child was black. That is not why. I just need you to understand one thing. I may not go into the details of it. Ask around the streets to tell you what really happened. I don't know if I'm at liberty to discuss that, but I just want people to know this. That Amber Alert, and it went out, it was late. It was after 11, I think, or that's when I checked my phone and I saw it. Amber Alerts will wake your phone up even if your phone is silent. Did you guys know that? I found that out. But that Amber Alert was not delayed because that child was black. And I can understand why some people would feel that it was delayed because black children, when they go missing, when they're abducted, they don't get the kind of attention as blonde-haired, blue-eyed white children. And that's just America. So I understand people's first reaction, their first instinct to think that there was some racism involved in the tardiness of that Amber Alert. Not the case. There's some basic information that officials need in order to transmit an Amber Alert. Real basic stuff, okay? But it requires the parties involved, the aggrieved, those who are facing tragedy, to cooperate with the police. And if the parties who are aggrieved don't want to cooperate with the police for their own reasons, or they think that they may have the situation handled, they can do it on their own without the police, then they're going to delay providing that detailed information to the police because the police need to know quite a bit. Who, what, where, when, why, who possibly could have did this? What's your name? Let me see your ID. Let me check your background. Let me see you. Which one of you may be involved in this child's disappearance? And there are some people that they didn't want to step forward with all that information. Said, we'll find this baby on our own until they couldn't. Luckily, the child was found, I believe, mostly unharmed other than psychological damage that child will suffer at the hands of the abductor and whoever else was involved in the motive into kidnapping that child. So the individual who I think was caught with a child, 25 years old. Does that make any sense to you? Why a 25-year-old will want to abduct a 7-year-old? 7-year-olds get hungry and they cry. And you know what I mean? You got to have video games for them and you got to have stuff for them. But it also reminds us of Alexis Patterson, who disappeared in the year 2002, who was never found. So I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I want to dive into the tragic events of the weekend. But this reminds me of another time. There's a period of time in Milwaukee where it was just as violent as it is right now, not just here, but all over the country. Imagine black communities from New York to L.A. to Oakland and San Francisco and San Antonio and Birmingham, Alabama and Jackson, Mississippi and Memphis, Tennessee. And don't forget about Detroit. Don't forget about Chicago. And please don't forget about Gary, Indiana. Can you imagine all of those cities and black neighborhoods? You had crime and violence and shootings and homicides and children being abducted. Imagine that. And guess what black people said back then? We need more police. We need to have more police. We're tired of living in fear because of what is happening in our communities. And we got more police. And then when you get more police, what else you need? You got to have more jails, more police, more arrests, more convictions. Got to put them somewhere, so you got to build jails. We now sound with people that are calling for more police. I even listened to my colleagues this morning jamming with Juice, and Carrie said everybody needs to have a Ring camera so we can have surveillance all over the place. People are afraid now like they were 30 years ago, and the result 30 years ago was the 1994 crime bill. But if you fast forward a generation, we look back on who was incarcerated, who was arrested during the 1994 crime bill, and it was black folks, even though it was black folks that wanted the additional safety and security, and black folks wanted additional law enforcement like we do right now. So I say this. Be careful of what you ask for, because they are willing to oblige you. If black folks say they're fed up and they want to spend more money on public safety and they want to hire more police and we're going to have to build more jails and prisons, the white community, the white criminal justice system in this nation is willing to oblige you. But what we're not going to do is 30 years from now say, that was racist, the 2025 Trump crime bill. Trump is just waiting. Oh, he's just waiting for the black community to say we want more police on our streets. Because you got to keep this in mind. The first crime bill was Bill Clinton, and he loved black folks. And he obliged us in a hurry. Oh, y'all want more police? You going to get more police. We also going to do 3 strikes and you're out. And guess who else voted for that 1994 crime bill? Bernie Sanders and a Joe Robinette Biden Sr. When I come back, we're going to continue our conversation. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hi, my name is Noor, and I am proud to be a Riverside University High School Tiger. As a rising sophomore, I am excited to get involved in many opportunities. RUHS offers like advanced placement classes, sports, and student council. But what I love about Riverside most is that Riverside University High School makes everyone feel welcome and provides students with lots of opportunities. On Saturday, August 23rd, from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, join us at Riverside for the Truth Family Fest. We will have entertainment, food trucks, and vendors. See you there.
Why did Old National Bank decide to create this program?
You know, it was something that was near and dear to the heart of our chairman and CEO, Jim Bryant. Jim wanted us to do more in the African-American communities, more with minority-owned businesses. So he approached Roland Shelton, who was my boss in Evansville, Indiana, and said, Roland, we need to do more. We need to create a program that's going to allow individuals, minority-owned businesses, women-owned businesses to access capital a lot better than traditionally we've been doing. And so we created the Empowerment Loan Program 2 years ago.
And for those that are now leaning more into this conversation, what's the best way to get in contact with you as part of their interest in the Empowerment Loan Program?
I'm going to give you my cell phone number to the listeners. It's 414-687-7393. And if that doesn't work, feel free to reach me at my email, tracy.meeks@oldnational.com.
Tracy Meeks, Senior Vice President, Community Lending Market Executive from Old National Bank.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Rasco, Planet Asian, Cali Agents, Rasco, Planet Asian, Cali Agents.
Welcome back to the program. I understand people's concerns, especially when you have so many horrific events happening in a very short period of time. It seems like the sky is falling, that we have to do something and act with great urgency. I have learned some things in the years that I have worked in public service and public policy. This is not a legislative fix. There's no bill. All you can do is allocate resources. You can just move money. You got to take money from somewhere, though. This is the thing. So every so often we'll have different priorities. Sometimes our priorities are, infrastructure. We want to fix the bridges and the roads. Sometimes the priorities are maybe looking toward the future and investing in technology. Sometimes we're looking at the status and the quality of our education. We got to move money into education. So we have these different priorities, and the priorities can change with the winds. Right now, it would seem that people are very concerned about public safety, especially at a time where Milwaukee is getting recognized in a way that I never even thought was possible. Milwaukee was an old industrial city, a manufacturing city. It was a place that people sought refuge at. It was a place that people from Gary, Indiana, and Detroit, Michigan, and from Chicago, Illinois came in the mid-1980s and the late 1980s and the early 1990s because we still had welfare checks that were written out to individuals based on how many children they had when all of those other states, Indiana, Michigan, and Illinois, had reformed their welfare system. So Milwaukee was not a place of any kind of international fame. The Bucks sucked back then very badly. They weren't a championship basketball team, so Milwaukee wasn't really about much. In fact, it was a dumping grounds here, and we had to deal with the criminal mentality from other places. The other thing about Milwaukee is, if you've been around long enough, you know, drug houses is not a Milwaukee thing. Back in the day, people sold dope on the street. They didn't sell drugs out of a house. That's a Chicago thing. Them Chicago folks came up here and started selling dope out of abandoned houses. Like the movie New Jack City, basically. That wasn't a Milwaukee thing. So now we have a whole nother situation. Ricky said they sell drugs out the car now. But also, it was different. So here's the thing with me. So I grew up in Brown Deer, and I kind of had a chip on my shoulder about that. I grew up in Brown Deer, but we hung out at Northridge a lot, probably too much. And some of the unsavory characters that also would hang out in Northridge were of fascination to me because I'm a suburban kid. I was like, I wish I was a part of the streets. Like, I glamorized the street life, as weird as that is. But I was also a teenager. But so here's what's crazy. Back in my day, OGs were in their 20s. Now I'm the OG in my 50s. But all those guys that I looked up to when I was a teenager, they're in their 20s. Oh, they're all dead or in jail. All of them are. But I idolized that lifestyle because I saw that they had things at that moment that I also wanted in that moment. And going back to school, because I didn't go to college right away after high school. I was going to try the streets out. I'm not a street dude, not cut out for it at all. And that's why I decided to go to college. I'm like, well, this is not for me. There's too much dishonesty going on around here. But also keep in mind, when the 1994 crime bill was signed, I was 19 years old. It was ripe for me. I was the intended target, and I'm glad that I made the decision that I made. I realized the streets weren't for me. Once you know everything that's involved in getting the money and the cars and the status and the notoriety and the fame, it is not worth it. And I also was discouraged from some of the guys that I looked up to from getting involved in the life because I think that they knew it was not for me. And so I'm glad I took a different direction. But, I had a curiosity and a fascination, as do a lot of young men who are trying to find their way throughout the world. But then if I fast forward to right now and I look back on how different my life would have become had I pursued that other path, and I'm glad that I have that wisdom to share because I certainly would not be here had I chose that other path. But for a lot of young people, that is the path they choose, and death and destruction and jail and ruined lives is ultimately what the result is going to be. Very little good comes from the curiosity and the fascination of that life. But people were fed up in Milwaukee. Milwaukee is a small town. It really is. We have big city amenities, but we're really a small town. And now that we're getting, I guess, a big city, international kind of recognition, somebody said we're one of the top 25 places. It's like an international publication. Was it National Geographic? Somebody said that Milwaukee is in the top 25 places to come and visit. Who knew? I never would have guessed that growing up many years ago in this town. Never would have guessed. And because we're getting this real special kind of attention, we can't have a bad reputation for crime. We can't. And so I can understand the urgency that invested a lot of money downtown, put the streetcar downtown and developed the Riverwalk downtown and the housing downtown. Did y'all know 30 years ago, nobody lived downtown? There was no housing downtown. In fact, just the thought of it would have been unappetizing to people. There was no demand for housing downtown because there really wasn't anything down there. It was mostly just shuttered factories with broken windows that were stuffed with asbestos. So that all came in the last probably like 30 or so years. But yeah, downtown was not where people lived. People wanted to live in the suburbs. That's where they wanted to live. But now, of course, things have, quote unquote, changed. So now you have more activity downtown. You got a whole new basketball arena. We gave, I don't know how many tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars to the Milwaukee Brewers, who are doing pretty well, I think. They're 56-40, which isn't a stellar record, but I guess that's the best record they've had at this point, at the halfway point of the season, I think, in franchise history. So shout out to them. But we're investing all of this money in Milwaukee so we can get this international status and this fame, so more people come here to travel and for their tourism, and more corporations want to bring their conventions here, so we cannot have a reputation of being a city that is unsafe. Please be careful, ladies and gentlemen, because it is this reputation preservation that may cause us to make decisions in which policy will result but will not be the solution. If children in third grade can't read and statistically don't catch up and don't graduate from high school, we're looking at a whole nother cycle of this intergenerational poverty. At the same time, we're trying to have conversations about intergenerational wealth. It is going to be one or it is going to be the other. But because the emotions are very high, especially when we lose very prominent figures, and I'm going to talk about Tweezy in just a little bit, people want action immediately. And the action that people, they want decisive action. They want more criminal justice. They want swift justice. Sometimes they want street justice. But you can bend a community to a point where they will acquiesce and say, yep, we want more police. We want to remove resources from somewhere else, I don't know where, and put it into public safety because we cannot have this. You have people that feel unsafe. You have whole business districts that feel unsafe. Bars and nightclubs are going to have to close, and that is going to impact the livelihood of the people that work there, that manage those places, and that own those places. So that's going to make unemployment go up. There's fewer places for people to go, so the riffraff is just going to be free to roam about. And it may cause a rush to judgment by the public in which we will want more police. We're already building a youth prison on the Northwest side. We may have to build another one. We may have to build new federal facilities. Oh, I'm sorry. We're already building federal facilities because of the quote-unquote immigration crackdown. Here's another thing that we need to be very, very careful of. If we decide in the city of Milwaukee that we really got to double down on law enforcement and we want more police, you have a person in the White House that is listening very, very closely to that because he is already dispatching ICE as like a pseudo-military law enforcement agency as it is. That's number one. Number two, Trump is not opposed to sending the National Guard to American cities to quell crime. Look what happened in L.A. So we just have to be very, very careful and learn the lessons of history because there was a period of time where Milwaukee summers were just as violent, if not more so. The way that the violence was exhibited 30 plus years ago was a little bit different. People wouldn't just shoot up a whole nightclub. They would walk up to the offender, the person that they wanted killed, and they would just shoot him in the head in broad daylight. Like they didn't just, oh, the person might be in that building. Okay, let's just shoot at the building. That's what they do now. Back then, you got murdered in front of everybody. So it's different now. It's more cowardly. All of it is cowardly, but even more so now. There's something I want to get to later on in the program, and I really hope I'm able to do it. So Immigration and Customs Enforcement, I know that this might sound like it's a little bit off to the side, but they could act, and they are acting as law enforcement, right? And well, they're a law enforcement agency, but the way they're being deployed and the way they're being dispatched and how big their budget is, they could assume law enforcement duties in essentially any city in the United States, especially because Milwaukee has been named a sanctuary city and is hated by Donald Trump. Donald Trump just snatched $30 million that the Biden administration allocated to us so we can pave 6th Street and fix up 6th Street, a main thoroughfare, a main corridor in the city of Milwaukee. So Trump already has it out for the city of Milwaukee. Here's what I want African Americans to be hyper aware of, and I guess whites and other races, you should be hyper aware of this too. You guys are familiar with the Ku Klux Klan, right? You know, Donald Trump's father in 1927 was arrested at a Klan rally in New York in 1927. What is the Klan's, like, their claim to fame? They wore hoods. They wore masks so you couldn't see who they are, so that they could commit violence with no accountability. And black folks know that very, very well. Just the sight of that hood, even anything that kind of looks like a Klan hood, freaks us out. Like every Halloween, it'll be a white person wearing like a ghost costume, and the head of the ghost costume looks a little pointy, and we put them on social media and say that they're pretending to be the Klan. So we're very hypersensitive to that. Well, you know, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, they're wearing hoods and masks too, but for some reason African Americans don't think that that's reminiscent of the Klan, meaning they can snatch us up and we won't know who did it. And we should be more familiar with unaccountable law enforcement than anybody else. I'm gonna pause there, take a break, come back, continue our conversation about some of the loss over the weekend. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Health starts early. Outreach's Healthy Starts, Healthy Hearts will bring together experts to help you shape your child's lifelong physical and mental well-being. Whether you're an expectant parent or provider, this event is for you. The event is free at our Capitol Drive location and open to all families. Call 414-727-6320 to register today. That's 414-727-6320. Outreach. Healthcare with Heart.
Summer in Milwaukee is nonstop. Festivals, live music, and fresh city vibes fill the season you already know. From world-famous cultural celebrations to hidden gem street fairs, every neighborhood is a stage, alive with handcrafted traditions, homegrown talent, and world-class entertainment. Music, flavor, culture, whenever you visit, the Cream City is ready to celebrate. This summer, don't just visit. Make sure you experience Milwaukee, the city of festivals.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Here is Sherwin Hughes with his Truth.
You ever notice how the phrase 9 to 5 sounds just so old school? That's because in 2025, the 9 to 5 is as outdated as a rotary phone. Let's be real. The world has changed, and the way we work has changed with it. The gig economy is booming. Folks are making money on their own terms, driving Ubers, delivering DoorDash, freelancing, and side hustling their way to the bag. And then there's the work from home revolution. People are clocking in from their kitchen tables, their favorite coffee shops, or even the beach. Laptops open, pajamas on, productivity up. The virtual office is now the new corner office, and the only commute is from the bed to the desk. Let's not forget about the digital nomads, those bold souls who turn the world into their workplace. They're sending emails from Bali, closing deals in Barcelona, and living life on their own schedule. No time clock, no cubicle, just Wi-Fi and a dream. And 21st century entrepreneurship, well, it's a whole new game. You can launch a business from your phone, build a brand on Instagram, and make more in a week than some folks do in a month without even punching a clock. So who's still working that old 9 to 5 job? People who are resistant to change or maybe just can't adapt. The future belongs to the flexible, the creative, the hustlers who know how to make technology work for them. The 9 to 5, well, that's a museum piece. The real action is happening outside the box, where freedom and opportunity are just a click away.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
From CBS 58, 2 people are dead and 3 others were sent to the hospital with injuries after a shooting near Water in Michigan in Milwaukee in the early morning hours Saturday, July 12th. So just a little side note, we had our last, for all intents and purposes, Beyond the Mic happy hour event, these events today. We did 4 of them last year, and it's where we get, hosts and producers of 1017 The Truth to hang out with our listeners in a social environment. And I also wanted to do those at Black-owned establishments, because I heard a lot of you say, Sherwin, there's nowhere to go. I want to go out. I want to have a good time, have a drink, get some food, but also support Black businesses to keep them around so that we have more entertainment venues for our cultural taste. And so Beyond the Mic was born out of that. So one of the places that we were considering having our Beyond the Mic, because when the season started, I planned on having 4 of them at 4 different venues. And so one of them is a place called Tropic on Water. In fact, had a bunch of meetings with Hyacinth. I've known Hyacinth, I don't even know, 20-something years probably. And we were going to have our first Beyond the Mic Friday, July 11th at Tropic on Water, which is literally a single block away from where a 30-year-old, a 32-year-old, a 34-year-old, a 39-year-old were all shot, and Antoine Hogan at age 52 was shot and killed. We were just that close. And I'm glad it didn't work out that we didn't have our event anywhere near that. We was in Brown Deer. We was isolated. We didn't know what was going on. You know what I was most concerned about Friday night? Bob falling off the stage. I almost had to catch him because he can't walk. Bob brought a saxophone and a keyboard and put his keyboard on like a piece of wooden, like a coffee table. Did you see the thing he brought? How did he bring that stuff? I don't.
Watch your mouth.
It was good to see old Bob. I worry about him. He almost fell. Every step he takes is a risk. But we were isolated from what was going on downtown, thankfully. But I cannot feel responsible. And I don't want to feel responsible for if we have an event and somebody gets hurt, because a lot of this stuff is wrong place at the wrong time. So what I do personally, you may do things differently, is I don't put myself in places where it's even a possibility. Even if that means I got to go home. Even if that means I'm not going over here. I'm not going to this neighborhood. First of all, I'm old. I don't need to be in the streets. If I'm in the streets, it's a really good reason. Like there's something really spectacular going on. Plus, I've done all this stuff anyway. I'm not out here in the clubs no more. Plus, I don't like the clubs anymore. Too old. I dance like an old fat guy. I don't even dance like I used to. What happens? Like what age is it where your dancing is just reduced to 2 steps? I can remember dancing when I was younger. There was more than 2 steps. There were many steps in my dancing. I don't even remember what I used to do. Now, even if I try and recall how I used to dance, my body doesn't work that way. And so instead of looking like a fool, and also I don't want to be the old dude in the club, because that used to be a thing back in the day. I remember when I was in my early 20s, and there'd be the old dude in the club, and he was a creep. And the old dude in the club back then was like 36. Like, look at him. He's 36. And we say stuff like, I don't want to be 36 years old still in the club, so I definitely have no business being out there at 50. Friends and family identified 52-year-old Antoine Tweezy Hogan's a Milwaukee rapper, promoter, and business owner who died in the shooting around midnight on Saturday. A 30-year-old, a 32-year-old, a 34-year-old, and a 39-year-old were also shot. Based on the latest updated information from the Milwaukee Police Department, it is unclear at this time which other person has died. And I think the other individual that passed away has been named and identified, but I am going to refrain from doing that here. Here's something else I want you all to notice. We think it's the kids. We think it's the young people that ain't got nothing to do. Now, I don't know the details of this situation. I don't know if somebody was targeted. I don't know if it was somebody that was a hater that was mad that somebody else was performing or somebody else was promoting. I don't know any of that stuff. And quite honestly, it's irrelevant. But when I hear about incidents like this, a mass casualty event, this is a mass shooting. I think kids. And to me, kids are 25 and younger. Because at 25, you're still you haven't really, your brain ain't fully developed yet. That frontal lobe, that temporal lobe that controls impulses isn't really formed, at least with men, until you're in your mid-20s. So when I think kids, I think 25. That's half my age, 25. These people are all in their 30s. One of them damn near 40, and Tweezy was 52. So it's not just the kids. And I think that I told myself that so I could feel safer. So the interesting thing about being a black man, there's a lot of interesting things about it. I rather like it. I know it's not as bad as we make it out to be. Once you get past a certain age, it's not as bad as we make it out to be. Between the ages of 15 and 35, our number one cause of death, unequivocally, is homicide. So once you make it past 35 as a black man, congratulations, sir. You can now look forward to dying from things like, I don't know, leukemia, complications from diabetes. What else we die from? Strokes, heart attacks, the normal stuff that people die from. But between 15 and 35 as a black man, especially here, your number one cause of death is homicide. So once you escape that era, you have the other things in which you can die from, or you might become a very productive citizen. So if you can stay out of harm's way and stay out of trouble between those very vulnerable ages, that 20-year span, and 20 years is a long time for your number one cause of death to be being killed by somebody else. But you think that once you get past that age, I don't want to say you feel invincible, but it's almost like life can begin anew. And a lot of times, these situations that we get the most angry at, it is young people that are in that particular age bracket. But I was alarmed to see the ages of these men that were shot. And again, I don't know the details. Was it mistaken identity? I have no idea. And I think at this point it doesn't matter. I know that more people perk up and it gets their attention when someone who is as well known and as famous as Antoine Hogan's, when he loses his life, everybody stands up and takes notice. I can't even remember when I first met him. I was on Homer Blow's radio show with him years ago. I remember when people called him the mayor and he talked about running for mayor, when I actually worked for the mayor, who was Tom Barrett at the time. And I thought it was fascinating and fantastic because the cross-section of folks in which Tweezy was most popular are the least politically engaged. And I thought it was beautiful that he was toying around with running for mayor. There was a period of time where the least likely people from the least likely places actually consider careers in politics. I don't know if you guys remember Michael McGee Jr. He ran for mayor a bunch of times. Did he win? He did not. He got elected alderperson. Then, he got in a little trouble, but that's neither here nor there. But there was a section of people that former Alderman Michael McGee Jr. would interact with, a certain cohort of people that he was credible with. But let's be honest, I was not. Tweezy was the same way. He was credible with certain people that I am not. Like, he's credible with people that don't listen to Black Talk Radio, that don't listen to me. He's like this ambassador that bridges the gap between legitimate success in this city and people that are from the streets. And you need those kinds of ambassadors almost like to translate to the people that are in the ivory towers that have the ability to make and enact social change. He is a huge loss. Not to mention, I saw him at Bucks games all the time. He was sitting in better seats than me. He was wearing a sparkly jacket. Had a lot of sequins on. He was sitting in better seats. He was hanging out with David Gruber. He was well loved by so many. And he lost his life this past weekend. On Saturday, those who knew Hogan's gathered outside of his hookah business on Fond du Lac Avenue. In the party atmosphere, friends listened to music and remembered the man who was popular in Milwaukee nightlife and the entertainment scene. He was a great friend to me, a great brother, said William Gardner, one of those who gathered outside the business on Saturday. Gardner said Hogan's was a victim of crossfire and was not the intended target in this shooting. Gardner said Hogan stayed out of trouble and gave back to the community any way he could. Yeah, I was out with some friends on Saturday night, and there was a there was a somber mood, even though we were at a birthday party celebrating someone else's life. You can only celebrate so much when someone as prominent as Mr. Hogan's passes away. It's a true tale of two cities here in the city of Milwaukee, because what I have found is that there really are places and spaces in this city where you wouldn't even know any of that stuff is going on. You don't hear a single gunshot. You don't hear any police sirens. Like, there is a city inside of this city where people are literally inoculated. They're insulated from all of this. I think that we were insulated on Friday night at Mr. B's. We were inoculated at the time that we were at Mr. B's. But then there's other parts of the city where even if you talk to the people, they have no idea what might be going on maybe 2 or 3 miles away on the near north side or the near south side. It really is a tale of two cities. Here's the problem with that. It takes the people that are insulated and are inoculated, that don't know about the streets. They don't know what's going on. They have to get involved too. It cannot just be the people who are more likely to be harmed to figure out the solutions. It has to be all of us. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I do want to talk about the abduction of a 7-year-old child who was eventually found safe. That was an unexpected one. Didn't have that on my bingo card. A 7-year-old child getting snatched off the streets in broad daylight. But, you know, all in a day's work for a weekend in Milwaukee. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee, it's time to turn the TV off and turn your speakers up so you can hear what the future leaders of the world have to say. Truth Nation, I'm proud to present the 8 Block, powered by City on the Hill and 101.7 The Truth, hosted by me, your boy, Ben Jammin. Every other Saturday at 9 a.m., 8 Milwaukee teams will share stories and laughs that will speak truth to what matters most in their lives.
I'm here to discover different levels about myself.
I'm really here to get my name out there and have a different perspective on life.
So tap in every other Saturday at 9 a.m. Truth Nation, welcome to the 8 Block.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm attorney David Gruber. After an accident, you need a trusted winning team on your side. For more than 30 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped Wisconsin families get the results they deserve. If you've been injured, call our firm today for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the Lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks and enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee police have arrested 3 men at homes tied to the abduction of 7-year-old Jamal White, who was taken at gunpoint Friday by a masked man. Police arrest log showed on Sunday, June 13th. So first thing I want to clear up, because we cannot have a frayed nor fractured relationship with the Milwaukee Police Department. I know that it is frayed and fractured, but there are situations in which we rely on them and they rely on us. And if the basic fundamental foundations of trust are not there, then things can go even more awry than they are right now. So the city of Milwaukee has got a very unusual racial history. If you are unfamiliar with it, I suggest you look it up. There is it's a book. I'm trying to think of the last name of the author. His name is Patrick, and he is Patrick Jones. I interviewed him years ago, and he's from like Kansas, and he wrote this book called Selma of the North, and he was talking about the city of Milwaukee. The racial history and the segregation and the marches for justice and open housing in the city of Milwaukee throughout the 1960s rivaled that of marches you saw in Montgomery, Birmingham, Atlanta, etc. during the Civil Rights Movement. And so this professor, Patrick Jones, wrote this book about the city of Milwaukee and our little known and even lesser studied contentious fight for civil rights here. So to understand the city in a modern context, you also have to know its historic context of a very segregated city. And in that, the relationship between the community and law enforcement is not solid and has not been for a very, very long time. Because with the police chief that we used to have in Harold Breyer, this is back when police chiefs served for life. Whoever thought that was a good idea? But Harold Breyer might as well have been a member of the Klan. The way he patrolled and ruled black communities in the city of Milwaukee. And then our mayor, Harold Meyer, who was mayor of the city of Milwaukee for 28 years, from 1960 until 1988. And he was not at all for integrating the city or for open housing. And when I say open housing, I mean, African Americans were coming at a pretty steady clip from other places in the country because we had a tremendous demand for labor in all of our meatpacking plants and breweries and manufacturing plants and assembly lines. If you look at remember Laverne and Shirley, it starts off with an assembly line and they're putting caps on the beer bottles. We needed a lot of labor for that. And so more and more African Americans came to the city of Milwaukee. But we couldn't live wherever we wanted to. We only could live essentially in what was then the second aldermanic district, in which Velvelita Phillips was the alderwoman. That was where all the black folks lived. And as we experienced this housing crunch, because more and more African Americans were coming up here from the Tennessees and the Arkansas and the Mississippis, we were running short on housing. But when African Americans tried to live anywhere else there were apartments for rent, landlords and property owners simply said no. Therefore, you had civil rights marches for open housing. Really fascinating history. And it's spelled out quite well in the book, The Selma of the North. But with all of that being said, the police were the number one enforcers of closed housing in the city of Milwaukee. And that tarnished the relationship that our community has with the police. Now, there's other things, too. There was the murder of Ernie Lacy and a few other situations that we all can recall with great specificity. But there are times in which we need to rely on the police and they need to rely on us. When a child goes missing, you stop what you're doing and it's all hands on deck because we know you got 72 hours statistically Don't ask me. Go to the FBI and look at their statistics. You got 72 hours statistically to find that child and bring them home. Because after 72 hours, statistically, you're not going to find that child alive. So at that moment, you need the police, but the police need us as well. We got to provide all the information that's involved. They got to get on the hunt. They got to start investigating and looking. And do you have a problem with this person? We got to go through your cell phone. Who you been talking to? Do you have any enemies? They need all this information if there is any hope of finding this child in 72 hours. Go look at the list of children that were never found. That list is published. You can go look it up. Go look at their faces. Never found because we didn't find them in the first 72 hours. Because of the fractured relationship that certain segments of our community has with the police, individuals that were required to provide some detailed information didn't want to provide it. In order to issue an Amber Alert, you need specific and detailed information that only certain folks familiar with the child and that family can provide. And if they refuse to provide it, or if they don't want to provide it, there's nothing the police can do. Now, eventually the information was provided and the Amber Alert went out. But I don't want people to think that it was stalled or the Amber Alert was tardy because of the fractured and frayed relationship between the black community and the police. This was something totally different. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, and I'll be back for hour 2.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
People need people, whether in Junior Achievements BizTown, where students work together to run a city, or in the real world, where blood donors can help save lives. Join Junior Achievement of Wisconsin and Versity for a mobile blood drive on Tuesday, July 15th from 2 to 6:30 p.m. at JA's headquarters near Highway 100 and Good Hope Road. While you're there, tour Jim's JA BizTown, where students take on real-world roles like CEO, banker, and mayor, learning how communities thrive through teamwork and leadership. Sign up today at wisconsin.ja.org.
Crew Tuesdays are back on July 29th.
Cheerio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Chicago Cubs.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third deck.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in July 29th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check out your local listings to watch the game.
Veterans, have you explored your benefits lately? The Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs stands ready to serve Wisconsin veterans, their families, and their survivors. With our partners like your local county veteran service officer, we can help access the benefits you've earned and the support you need. For more information, please visit wisvets.com. That's wisvets.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs, with funding provided by the Milwaukee Brewers and the Brewers Community Foundation.
Day 1, diagnosis day. The hardest day. The day you hear,
I'm sorry, this is a type of blood cancer.
But day 1 is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
I missed a lot of school during treatment, and LLS helped me keep up.
We are here for you. We exist for everyone fighting leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and other types of blood cancer.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
Day 5,840 and counting, and I'm still in remission.
To learn more and get help on day 1, day 2, day 983, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee. A locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
And my name is Rhea. Now I like a woman who loves her freedom. And I like
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. I have some, I think it's shocking information. I was shocked by it. I wanted to do a deep dive on, well, who calls the police? What is the demographic of person that is much more likely to call the police? That's number one. Number two, I wanted to see who in this big, vast, diverse nation of ours is more likely to be subjected to violent crime. Because maybe if we know those things, if we know who is more likely to call the police, maybe these are the people that are witnessing crimes or they're snitches. I don't know who it is. And then if you juxtapose that with who is more likely to be a victim of violent crime, it is from that information, those numbers, those statistics, that data in which I think public policy can form. But the current situation we find ourselves in after this horrible weekend that we had in the city of Milwaukee, I don't think there's a policy solution. Not immediately. This is a generational problem. And if there is no opportunity and if there is no hope, and if we have low levels of literacy and low levels of high school graduation and high levels of truancy, see, there are some things that we can do right now in this moment to prevent us from reliving this 30 years from now. So the movers and the shakers and the young people who are little kids right now or their moms are pregnant with them right now and they're going to be born and they're going to do really great things, we don't want them to have to be regressive and have to figure out these problems that we're figuring out right now. These damn problems that we were trying to figure out in 1994, and they've come back completely full circle, meaning we ain't make no progress. We haven't. Back where we were in 1994 when black people and black communities said they wanted more law enforcement and wanted more prisons built and wanted more 3 strikes and you're out. And here we are. I hear the same thing right now. We got to have more police, got to have more public safety, got to have more surveillance cameras. Gonna have facial recognition every damn where. You know what? Side note, because I know some of you all are very paranoid about, cameras watching you all the time. I come to find out there are special sunglasses that you can wear. That and they're expensive now, they ain't cheap. You buy these sunglasses and you cannot be detected with facial recognition software. I'm not encouraging people to go out there and get them sunglasses because we want to be able to recognize your face. I don't want you to hide your face from the facial recognitions. I want your facials to be recognized. I was at the Majors yesterday doing my grocery shopping and a fella came up to me in the Majors because he recognized my face. He said, "Hey, are you Sherwin Hughes?" I said, "Yep." That can go one of two ways. If I'm out in public and somebody asks me if I'm Sherwin Hughes, I'm like, oh, here we go. But no, he's a great guy. So shout out to the man who was at the grocery store in Majors yesterday. All right. I want to read. There's a comment. Millicent said something. Our phone number, if you want to call or text, by the way. Share your thoughts, feelings. You got some solutions? Maybe you guys have the solution. I should be asking you guys. Collectively, I'm sure we can come up with something that's got to be better than what we did in 1994 because that didn't work. But also, you can't have an African-American community that is more likely to be victimized, right? And, let's just say it, black perpetrators, okay? That's the recipe for a kind of disaster where black people don't feel safe at the hands of other black people, and then we call the police. And then black people get arrested. and black people get charged, and black people are found guilty, and black people go to jail because black people committed transgressions and harms and committed crimes against black people. Do you see where I'm going here? Black people want to feel safe. And then black people are going to rely on the police to help foster their sense of safety. And then the police do their job and they arrest the bad guys. And then the bad guys are caught with guns, dope, caught with abducted children. They're caught with the evidence. Then those black guys or black women, ladies, you guys can go to prison too now. And then they go to jail, and then we look at the results of that over, I don't know, a 5 or 10 year period, because, you know, crime rates fluctuate. And then we look back and be like, oh, black people wanting to feel safe is racist. Black people not feeling safe, and then black people calling the police, and the police helping to foster the sense of safety. Oh, by the way, police are getting shot in this too. I guess a state trooper got shot and killed in Lexington, Kentucky over the weekend. So black people wanting to feel safe can't be looked at as racist. Because when white people call the police on other white people, that's not racist. White people will call the cops on each other in a second. White people will call the police even when maybe they shouldn't even be called. They got the cops ready. But when we call the police because we want to feel safe, and the police come and they arrest, and then the judicial system convicts, and then they go to prison. And we look at the number of people that go to prison, and we say, oh, wow, a whole bunch of black people went to prison. We can't then turn around and say that's racist, but then here's the other part that just... So we're not happy with what's going on, right? Tweezy was killed. 7-year-old child was abducted. Maybe they catch and convict all of the people that are involved. Okay? And I don't know, 25, 30 years from now, I don't even know how long people even go to jail for this kind of stuff anymore. When those people, I need you to think about this now. When the person that kills Tweezy gets out of prison, the community would be like, we have to have reintegration programs for them. No, we have to give them jobs and give them housing and give them opportunities. I never understood that. We get real mad at people for making us feel unsafe. They go to jail for a long time, but by the time they get out, we treat them like they were victims. I never understood that. The opportunity, and I'm just not the one to comment on it. I'm not the one to be involved in that kind of solution, the reintegration stuff. I got to leave that to other people, because I think about a time in which we were also feeling very unsafe in the city of Milwaukee and really around the country during the crack epidemic, right? There was a lot of murder, a lot of homicides, y'all. There was kids getting kidnapped then too. And then those people go to jail and they come back, and then we have to welcome them with open arms. It's like they went off to summer camp. No, you made our community feel unsafe. You reduced the value of our properties. You hung black people with stereotypes that we still cannot get away from right now. It's why some black people, when they walk into a place, they get followed. Why another black person may have a perfect resume and apply for a job and won't get it. But then when those people that commit these horrible transgressions against innocent black people go to jail and come back, well, we got to integrate them back into society. You all do. I don't. Especially when people commit violent crimes. That's what I'm talking about, because they come out too. All we know is that somebody will tell you oh, I did 25 years. Whenever I hear the length of their sentence, it's usually pretty damn apparent that they did something really bad. And then you have all of these agencies and groups. We have to integrate them back into the system. A reason why a cohort of black folks did well in the 90s. Not everybody was going to prison in the 90s. I graduated from high school and college. I did well for myself and got good jobs. I think it was because I had to compete against fewer black people because so many people were going to jail. So I benefited from it. And I'm not shy about that. Who we got on line one? Who that is? Terry. Let's talk to Terry.
Hey, good morning, Sherwin.
Hi. How are you, Terry?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
It is what it is.
Yeah, I understand. Hey, I have a question for you. What does it take to get the guns off the streets of the city of Milwaukee?
No, that's not going to happen. Impossible.
Without violating anyone's, it's not going to happen.
You know what that's like? Here, let me give you a better comparison. Cars are expensive and they pollute and they require fossil fuels that funds terrorism. What do you think it would take to get everybody in the city of Milwaukee to walk to work? You have a better chance of getting cars off the street than guns out of homes and out of pockets and out of cars.
That's a good scenario. However, so this is the world that we live in. I mean, especially in the black community, seems like, it's a fact that more black people are getting killed in this city than any other ethnic group. And do you mean to tell me we just sit back and we just wait for something to happen without coming up with some type of preventative program in regards to gun violence?
There's programs now. The problem is it takes our life's work. Someone that wants to prevent this. So what's happening right now is a result of failures 30 years ago. So we're always 30 years away from a better day. So we'd have to start something right now to prevent this from happening in 30 years where we fell short 30 years ago. This is the result of that. Not focusing more on education, not seeing the red flags when children can't read in third grade and statistically they don't catch up, they don't graduate from high school. 70% of the people that are in prison right now for violent crimes, Terry, can't read and don't have a high school diploma. So there's things that we can do right now to prevent it, but as far as like right now, here's the thing. Somebody's at home loading their pistol right now because at 5 o'clock, they know X, Y, and Z is going to be off work and they're going to kill them, okay? There's no policy, there's no law, and there's no number of police you can put on the street that's going to stop that person that is loading their pistol right now from going and killing that person at 5 o'clock. That person fell through the cracks or they were under-resourced their whole life and it led them to ultimately going to commit that violent crime.
There's people riding through this. There's people riding through the city right now that are well armed with firearms.
Correct.
And we can go fight a war and lose many lives. However, but we cannot control the safety of the people of the city of Milwaukee because of people have guns because it's guns in the wrong hands of people.
But Terry, if it's not guns, people will use a knife. If it's not a knife, people drive cars through crowds and kill masses of people. So it will always have a weapon. So, guns, it seems like it's the easiest thing to get rid of, even though it's not because it's in the Constitution. If you take away the guns, people will just find other means. Like in European countries, people go on stabbing sprees. They have mass stabbings. So we have to deal with a root problem that causes someone to want to harm somebody or kill somebody in the first place because we'll always find a weapon. Somebody pick up a damn rock. Didn't Cain and Abel, didn't somebody have a slingshot back in the Bible? They'll find something to be a weapon.
Right. So it means that every time we step ourselves outside the door and get into the public places, there is a possibility that we can get caught up in a crossfire, and this is just the way life is in the world, I guess.
Well, we don't want to cause too much panic. I do understand your sentiment, but there are certain places where the likelihood is higher than other places. If you in church on Sunday morning, chances are, and statistically, you probably aren't going to get caught up in a crossfire. But if you're in a nightclub at 2:30 in the morning on a Saturday, early Sunday morning, and it's 80 degrees, then the likelihood is higher. You just have to be a little bit more vigilant about where you go and also who you're hanging out with. But I think the hardest part, though, Terry, and I'm going to let you go after this, is that if there's a teenage boy who might be into some bad stuff, you can't even talk to his parents about the stuff this teenage boy is into because the parents will get mad at you. You might be genuinely concerned about this 17-year-old boy's safety, because he might be one who's ripe to join a gang, or maybe he does have an illegal gun. If you tell the mama and the mama and the daddy want to beat you up.
That's true. Okay, thank you, Terry.
Thank you for your call, Terry. I hope that wasn't too pessimistic, but it's the truth. You can't tell parents about their kids? Teachers do it all the time. And teachers get their asses kicked. Apparently, there was a special on TMJ, on our local news, about a bunch of teachers. They didn't want to have their identity revealed. But teachers getting their asses kicked. And in one of the little clips, little preview I saw this, I think it aired already. This lady was like, the 5 and the 6-year-olds are the worst ones. Oh, you better be glad I'm not a kindergarten or first grade teacher. I would kick several 5 and 6-year-old kids' asses at the same time. You ever see like these little junior karate competitions where it'll be like, you know, like a little 7, 8, 9-year-old going for like their black belt or their green belt, their purple belt. You ever seen them when little kids will be doing karate? And I always think when I see these kids, I'm going to get my green belt. And they break the little board or they do their little karate moves and they get awarded their belt. I'm thinking to myself, if you're under the age of like 14, I don't care what kind of karate you know, I'm going to kick your little kid ass. You know, you ever think about that? Like a 7 or 8-year-old, it's a black belt in karate. You can just snatch them and just grab them. But I know karate. All right. I'll kick your little karate knowing ass. You're only 7. You weigh 48 pounds, sir. Let's talk to Al from Sherman Park. You're on 101.7 The Truth.
Hey, good morning, Sherwin. Before I start what I'm getting into, my condolences to Miss Rose's family and relatives.
Oh, absolutely. What a bright, shining star she was.
She's a very intelligent lady. You know, I had a acquaintance, quickly on the topic of the school kids, and she's an assistant principal. She had like a 5-year-old she was trying to restrain. That 5-year-old kind of ripped her arm out the socket, and her shoulder still ain't right.
A 5-year-old?
A couple of years back.
5?
Mm-hmm, trying to restrain. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because you don't want to be too hard on a 5 or 6-year-old, but still.
I don't know how a 5-year-old can rip anything but a damn sheet of paper, but all right, maybe I just have a different understanding of the strength of children. Because when I think 5-year-old, I mean, hell, COVID was 5 years ago. I can't think of somebody born during COVID that could rip an arm out the socket. Boy, let me see a 5-year-old attacking a woman. I kick every little 5-year-old's ass I see. I would kick innocent 5-year-olds' asses if I thought it would do any good. Little bastards.
Our solution here, and I don't even know how you've enacted, but it starts with the mindset. Because I don't even know what the mindset of is somebody driving by or spraying a club up with bullets and not hitting their intended target, but not even caring about the people that they aren't beefing with, because we're in a state where right now they shoot at the police, right? So how are the average civilians going to fare in this environment? And then scientifically looking at it, I have to start asking, what is going on with the clubs down on Water Street and the Michigan Street area? Because this is not the first shooting or death in that vicinity of clubs. So what is it about those clubs that is attracting the mindset of these people shooting?
I mean, isn't that self-explanatory? A particular kind of culture and a certain kind of music brings a specific demographic out, and their rules are different. Their understanding of following order is a little bit different. They live differently than most, and changing their mindset, great, but you got to change their mindsets when they're babies. But they grew up in this environment, though. That's the other thing.
Well, part of the problem I see that has happened over the last decade or so is that some of us, we tell our children that because they've been oppressed, that they can almost get away with anything that they want to, and just throw out the word racism. So when we start cracking
Who does?
down
I don't know. You must be familiar with people. I didn't know that black folks could think they could get away with anything. If anything, it's quite the opposite. We can't do half of what we see, and we can do less than a quarter of what they do. So I don't know where that came from.
So when we start cracking down on this stuff, watch all the people gonna cry. discrimination, racism, and look at the DA is going to start making these deals.
I know.
For people
I made it clear the 1994 crime bill was motivated by black folks that want a crime to stop in their communities. But now I gotta take a commercial break though. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
This is 101.7 The Truth, Kyle Wallace, and the time is now, Milwaukee. Truth to Power is your platform, and on my show, our community always has a voice. There is no topic that is off limits, and I always give you my authentic opinions on how I feel, because keeping it real is the only way I know how to get down. Listen to Truth to Power with me, Kyle Wallace, every day from noon to 1 p.m. on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth app, and streaming live on YouTube at 101.7 The Truth. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Bikers are often blamed for causing the accident because the insurance companies simply don't want to pay. At Gruber Law Offices, we've been fighting for injured bikers and their families for more than 30 years. Trust us to fight for what you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
At We Energies, we're committed to building a bright, sustainable energy future. We're investing in clean energy projects like solar, wind, and battery storage. As a leader in the decarbonization effort, our goal is to achieve net zero carbon emissions from our generation fleet by 2050. It's part of our plan to provide the affordable, reliable, and clean energy you depend on. Learn more at WeEnergies.com. We Energies, people you can trust, energy you can depend on. This message was paid for by the stockholders of WEC Energy Group.
I've got to share that I am also a beneficiary of the Old National Bank Empowerment Loan Program. So, Tracy, with that being said, what is the Empowerment Loan Program?
Great. Well, the Empowerment Loan Program is a special purpose loan program that we launched 2 years ago. It has been a success. It was something, again, near and dear to the heart of not only our chairman and CEO, but just our organization as a whole. We work with contractors, consulting firms, retail food operations, daycares. In fact, so far, we've approved $50 million of loans to minority and women-owned businesses within a 2-year period.
And for those that are now leaning more into this conversation, what's the best way to get in contact with you as part of their interest in the Empowerment Loan Program?
I'm going to give you my cell phone number to the listeners. It's 414-687-7393. And if that doesn't work, feel free to reach me at my email, tracy.meeks@oldnational.com.
Tracy Meeks, Senior Vice President, Community Lending Market Executive from Old National Bank.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Vanessa almost forgot about that. Bob kept slamming his beer on the table. Bob got drunk on Friday night. And I felt bad because Bob hadn't had a drink of liquor, he said, in 40 years, and I believe him. And he had that Miller. He got about halfway through that bottle of Miller, and he started getting aggressive with it with his one-armed self. But I will say this, Bob did not sound that bad on the saxophone. His keyboard playing sucks. Terrible keyboard player. He wasted his time and his energy bringing that damn keyboard. But he didn't sound too bad on the saxophone. But Bob, he was getting drunk and he was getting like a little, like his mouth was getting loose. You know how it is when you get drunk, you get real honest. Bob said he blamed me for it. He said, Sherwin, I ain't had no drink in 40 years. Drinking on that Miller. Then, so then we get to asking Bob, you know, by when last time you got your little sample, a little taste? Oh, I ain't had no woman in 20 years. So we was actually thinking about taking Bob out to the strip club, which would have been a disaster. But we haven't heard from him. That little beer that Bob drank, I don't know how we drove back to Racine. Ain't he from Racine? I think he's from Racine. He should have carpooled with Benjamin. But yeah, Bob had him a beer. Let's talk to Eddie Hello, Eddie. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
All right, Sharon. How are you doing this morning?
Doing all right. What's on your mind?
My mind is on about the guns thing. To me, I'm one of the people that say guns don't kill, the people do. And it's like any other tool, a hammer, a screwdriver. You lay it there until you use it, and then it serves its purpose. So agreeing with you that we'll never get rid of guns. And a lot of people bring up about, well, you can go to jail. A person that felon, whoever, whatever they want, they're going to have it. They don't care about the consequences about that. But what I'm thinking is that what if the laws, one big factor I think is education, lack of education. Is like when I was coming up, you sort of adapt to how people thought that the way to resolve things is through physical fight. You know that. Like if you didn't agree with somebody, then you punched them. You know, and they educated you on why that was not the right choice. Now, I think, and this might sound silly or whatever, but I think if the law changed where it was like the Bible states, an eye for an eye, meaning that if you hit me in my eye, then I should be able to hit you in your eye if you found guilty of that. Whatever, if a person uses a vehicle to run you over, whatever, and you're dead, but if the law says, well, you have to die in the same manner, it might deter a lot of things because, like, Vermont, and I used to have one of bootleg things.
Eddie, before you go down that road, violent deterrence is not deterrence. The only deterrence from crime is education, period. Education, opportunity, and hope. No one is afraid of going to jail. But nobody's afraid of it.
But what about fear?
What about it?
Meaning that, like, if you, like me, or anyone.
How old are you, Eddie? If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
70.
All right. I think your idea and your concept of fear and of consequences to your actions is probably a lot different than a 17-year-old or a 25-year-old. If these children grew up neglected, harmed, abused, unloved, they're not afraid of anything. And it's hard for us to even imagine what their lives are like. They're not afraid of going to jail. Half of their families are in jail. Like, they've got uncles and brothers and cousins that when they see them, they have to go visit them in prison. So they're not afraid of jail. And they have nothing to look for. I think that's the other thing. We think that they have these bright futures ahead of them. No, they don't. If you can't read, you're not going to get a job. And if you can't get a job, what are you going to do, Eddie? What would you do if you didn't have a job for the last 50 of the last 70 years of your life?
I'm from a different area.
Correct.
I come from a hustling background. You know, whatever the situation is. I mean, I might not eat steak, but I'm going to eat something. Matter of fact, you know, that's the way I look at it. And I was always taught. My mom, she had a good poker face. She said, you didn't want to go to prison. She ain't coming, blah, blah, blah. And I never crossed that line. I think a lot of these young people are able to cross that line, and that's why they end up where they at. And I don't know the full story, but then even let's flip that strip to education. You know, if maybe somebody should have a show where they go and talk to these people that committed these certain crimes as young, and let them relate the message that, hey, you don't want to be here. Sometimes I think it's an underlying argument where society doesn't want to educate people to their benefits. Because from my understanding, everything comes with a bottom dollar. They say crime doesn't pay, but it does pay the lawyers and attorneys and police, the judges.
Eddie, you've been around for a while. Let me throw this at you. Do you think that America has any incentive to educate black children? Where is our incentive in doing that? So they can be competitive against white children?
I personally believe they don't want to have an incentive because they got to have someone that they can use to fulfill their dreams, and you know, because the more educated, like with you can make a choice on, like you said earlier. If you want to go buy a car or go with something, you can make a decision on that car and based on you're going to do some research, blah, blah, this, that, other. The average person that doesn't know how to read or whatever, they just look at the car. It's pretty, and they want it. They don't care if they have to pay triple the amount interest or whatever for the car. So you're right. No, they don't have a reason to educate a certain population, but that starts at home, which a lot of times at home, the parents are not educated. So it's just a big snowball, and people benefit from it. And I just thought, like in other countries where somebody commit rape, they get the balls cut off, or they steal, they get their hand cut off. You know, and it seems like the crime rates are a little less in those areas.
Yeah, but the culture of those countries is probably different. They don't have the legacy of separation, segregation, and racism like we have. But if you just look at states that have the death penalty, because like you think, oh, if we get the death penalty, that'll be, that'll discourage people. In states that have the death penalty, the homicide rates are higher. So it literally does no good. But Eddie, I gotta go though. I gotta take a break.
Yep. All right. Thanks.
Okay then.
Thanks, sir.
All right then. Now, Eddie. Eddie said you raped somebody, they cut your balls off. Well, but you've already done the raping, though. I mean, you may not rape again, true, but you can't say, "Hey, rapers." Well, then what do you do when women rape? What do you cut off on them? Take their ovaries? The eye for an eye thing doesn't work. It doesn't. We know what the solutions are. All you have to do. Look at, study, do a deep dive of the social climate and the culture and the education and the income and the opportunities of places that have low crime. That's it. And you know what else places with low crime have? Almost no police. Some of the safest places I've been to, like Eau Claire, Wisconsin. You can be in Eau Claire for a whole damn week and might see a single squad car and they'll wave at you. They're nice police. Hey there, you want a bite of my donut? Hi, I'm Eau Claire Police Department. Hey, oh, look, Bob is on line one. We didn't know if Bob made it home. Did you see Bob slamming his beer on the table on Friday? All right, we're going to take a break. Come back. We're going to talk to Bob. Make sure Bob might have just, that one beer he had, he might have got turned out. He might have went and got him a prostitute, bought a little cocaine that night. I don't know what Bob did. Bob was drinking. Bob said, hell, I'm off the wagon now. Let me go ahead and buy this Coke. Smoke this reefer. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, you already know I got to put you on the latest hookup at Nick Avani's, and this one is big. All month long during July, Nick Avani's is running their buy one, get one for a penny sale. That's right. Grab one item and get another one for just 1 cent. We're talking top-tier fashion like suits, shirts, ties, shoes, and more that will have you stepping out looking sharp and turning heads. Some exclusions may apply, but the deal is real and only happening for the month of July. So don't wait and pull up to Nick Avani's on the 2nd floor of Mayfair Mall and level up your wardrobe while this deal lasts.
Summer in Milwaukee is nonstop. Festivals, live music, and fresh city vibes fill the season you already know. From world-famous cultural celebrations to hidden gem street fairs, every neighborhood is a stage, alive with handcrafted traditions, homegrown talent, and world-class entertainment. Music, flavor, culture, whenever you visit, the Cream City is ready to celebrate. This summer, don't just visit. Make sure you experience Milwaukee, the city of festivals.
What's poppin', Truth Nation? It's your girl Noni Juice with Ashley Lucas from Associated Bank, and this is Making Your Money Work. There's a lot we actually have to get into, okay? And one of the main things that I feel like people aren't really talking about a lot are tariffs.
Oof.
Yes, tariffs is a big one, and I think people need to know how tariffs could actually potentially impact small business clients. So how does it impact them?
Yeah, it's something that we're talking about at Associated Bank quite a bit with our business clients. We call it the big T word because it's kind of scary, but it's something that I think small businesses really do need to proactively discuss to make sure they're prepared. And something to remember is the economy changes all the time. Businesses withstand changes in the economy. So purchasing will change, right? Pricing may change depending on if they're buying outside of the United States, but maybe even within the United States. So if you have a retail store, it could potentially mean that the price of the goods that they're purchasing for their store may go up. And sometimes product may take longer. So if people start switching where they're buying from, it may take longer to get. So those are some things that if you're a business owner right now, you should be discussing with your bank or with peers or with a subject matter expert to just make sure you're prepared if it does change your business.
So how can small business owners prepare for this whole tariff situation?
So some things we always talk about with small business owners is you always want to prepare for the unexpected. And the truth is right now we don't have all the answers, right? We are learning, banks are learning, subject matter experts are learning right alongside business owners. There's a couple things you can do. One, reach out to your financial institution and ask what they know. Right now, we are getting research. We're talking to economic experts to make sure that we have the appropriate information to give to business owners.
This has been Making Your Money Work, brought to you by Associated Bank.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
$833 212-1017, 833-212-1017 is our phone number. Let's talk to. Well, hello there, Rocco. How are you?
Hello there, Sharon. Beyond the mic, I'm so glad that you're not having any more because you're actually better than Hannity and Rush Limbaugh, and you don't make nowhere near that amount of money.
The hell that got to do with not having no more Beyond the Mics, man? I'm not having no more Beyond the Mics because you come to my damn event and get drunk. You was drunk, Bob.
I had 2 beers, okay? I don't drink.
Wait, you had a second beer? You was drunk halfway through the first one. Now, I didn't know you had a second one. We was worried about you getting home, man. We didn't think you was going to make it.
Well, I worry about you not. You're really in institutional racism, and because you don't get nowhere near to have 2 or 3 bodyguards, and now you're not having no more Beyond the Mics, and that's good. I feel bad about Miss Rose. Wow.
Yeah, that's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, the older you get, the more people you actually see lose. You lose. They pass away. It's so sad. And JD has said his poem very nice. I enjoyed his poem. And you were right about Dr. Ken. He looked like he was 25 years old. He is not like he is on the air. Dr. Ken was shadow boxing and running around. I said, man.
Was that the first time you met him? That couldn't have been the first time you met Dr. Ken.
It was in your auditorium or whatever you want to call it. But it was just straight, how you doing? And then he said, how you doing? And that was it. But here he came out kickboxing, and I said, oh man, look at him.
You know what, Bob? You know what's crazy? Dr. Ken is only 7 years younger than you.
You look like he was 25, man. I tell you, it just looked like he was 25. And it took me two hours, and it normally take me 1 hour to get home. I had to pull
Whoa! Why did it take you an extra hour to get home? Did you go get you some cocaine? Because you said you hadn't had a drink in 40 years, right? And then when somebody falls off the wagon, you get to drinking again. Did you go get you a prostitute? What took you so long to get home, man?
I pulled off the expressway 3 times to use the lavatory. I'm trying to say a sophisticated word because of them beards. I don't be drinking, man.
Bob, hold on, Bob. Did you at least go to an actual restroom?
No, man, got the luxury of, we don't have to go.
Bob, hold on, dude. You pulled off the highway to pee. Where did you pee? Where? You went to a restroom. You went to a gas station, correct?
Yeah, I went to. I went to a McDonald's.
Did you go to? Will you go to a McDonald's? You went to a McDonald's. You pulled off to a rest stop, right?
Why did y'all split them beers on me? 2 beers. I haven't had none in 40 years. What are y'all doing, man?
Hold on, dude. Wait.
I'm glad Al grabbed one, because then they bought me another one. And I said, and Al grabbed it.
Al will get you drunk. Yeah, you can't be nowhere near Al. Al will have you see double.
All right, sir. You keep the good work going on, sir. And I appreciate it. And take care of yourself. I'm glad you're not having no more Beyond the Mic. And be more careful and watch yourself so I don't have to worry about you that much.
You're the one we need to worry about.
No, you don't worry about me, man. I get around. I just feel bad about Miss Rose. Man, I can't believe.
Well, I mean, it's a loss. It's sad. But she also was damn near 90. You know what I mean? I could see if we lost her young. Miss Rose would call in and tell stories about stuff she used to do in the 1950s. So she lived a very long life, and we all got to know her, and we love her so very much. It's sad that she's gone, but it's not like she was a teenager. She lived and then some. We need to worry about you, Mr. PP. Got to get off the highway 3 times, go PP.
The lavatory or urinate, Sherwin, not just, be a little bit more, sophisticated, sir.
I'm not the one that had to pull off the highway and PP in a ditch.
I'll talk to you later, man.
So y'all don't think I'm crazy. Bob got apprehended by the police because I guess he went to a gas station. He told the story on the air. That's why I can tell it. And he didn't, the bathroom door was locked. If you go to a gas station, you got to ask for a key to the restroom, okay? Because people go in gas station bathrooms and do crack and heroin. So you got to get a key. Bob went to the bathroom, the door was locked, and he just peed on the side of a gas station in the middle of the day, and the police came up to him. Now, the police felt bad for him, but Bob will pee anywhere. Had I known, y'all, who bought Bob the beers? Y'all bought them beers for him. I thought he went and got the beers. Y'all, listen here now. See, this is another reason why we can't do no more Beyond the Mics. Y'all got Bob peeing on the side of the highway. I just hope that he stopped the car to pee. He might just aim it out the window. Oh, no, it's windy. I don't know what Bob did. Because I know that I think Vanessa has his contacts, and she was trying to get a hold of him. We was worried about Bob. But he all right. All right, why don't we do this? Let's see who this is on line 1. I guess I'll grab another phone call. Milwaukee police have arrested 3 men at homes tied to the abduction of 7-year-old Jamal White, who was taken at gunpoint on Friday by a masked man. Police arrest logs showed on Sunday, June 13th. Jamal was found safe Saturday evening. That's all I'm going to say about that situation. I also want you to know that the Amber Alert, which was issued probably 4.5, if not 5 hours after the abduction, the reason why the Amber Alert was so tardy wasn't because Jamal is black. It's because you need cooperation with the community and the police. So the individuals that have the information that authorities need to issue an Amber Alert weren't cooperative, okay? I'll let you fill in the blanks on that, but I'm just going to leave it there. Why don't we talk to Aaron? You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Hello. I'm all right. How you doing?
Doing okay. What's on your mind, Aaron?
I met you at the Beyond the Mic event, and I was promoting my apparel line, and you had told me to call in, so I am calling in. I am happy to be here. I cannot express to you how much this means to me. Appreciate it.
Timing is a little off, but go ahead, Aaron. Tell people about your apparel line.
Well, my apparel line is AOD by Air Forces, and I'm pretty sure you want to know what AOD means. You didn't ask me, but I'm glad you asked anyway. AOD is voice and song in Greek mythology. And my mission statement is to bring people together through fashion and music, which are two of the most diverse things to bring people together. Fashion and music are similar to sports. They bring a lot of people together, all walks of life. And I also wanted to mention that AOD will be featured on the top-level reality show that's airing on the Fashion Network TV. Fashion Network is a digital platform and streaming service focused on demographics fashion by showcasing emerging designers and diverse voices. The platforms that it'll be on is Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and Android mobile devices. We'll be shooting in New York in the beginning of August, so if you can tune in, if you need more information, you should contact Therese Marie on Facebook or Therese Marie Collection on Instagram. And my name is Aaron Forston. My name is Aaron Forston on Facebook. My apparel line is AODAF on Instagram, and you can get in contact with me. I appreciate this opportunity to shout my clothing line out. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Aaron. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then. All right, that's pretty cool. All right, now. You have a good day now. Okay, then. I'm assuming he wasn't listening to the show. He called in. I did tell him to call, but damn it, I gotta do better. I was a couple of shots of Crown Royal in, and he gave me a shirt. Apparently, somebody told him to come to Beyond the Mic and to bring some of his apparel to give away. His brother, did y'all see him? He's in some of the pictures. He's sitting at a table by himself, got a bag full of shirts. He gave me a shirt, which I left at Mr. B's. Sorry. Craig, if you're listening, I got a T-shirt there somewhere. It's white. It's a XXX. And he was telling me about his clothing line because I try and go over and talk to everybody, say hello, introduce myself to everybody that goes to the Beyond the Mic events. And he was telling me about his clothing line. I'm a couple shots in now. All right? I'm not my normal self. I'm extra happy. I'm jovial. I'm amicable. I'm affable. And I said, oh, you got a clothing line? You should call the show. He was like, oh, I should? I said, yeah, call my show. And I gave him like a broad range of times to call. I said, call Monday through Friday between blah, 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 blah. But just for future reference, ladies and gentlemen, if I tell you to call my show, you can, because we've taken worse calls than that. But you got to listen, though, to the show a little bit. It's got to be in the context. He called in with a script. I bet you I wonder what AOD is. Thank you for asking, Sherwin. He was answering questions that I didn't even ask him. You hear it? You hear him? But thank you. I bet you are wondering, what does that mean? I will tell you what it means. Thank you, Sherwin. I appreciate your question. I got to take a break. The Truth with Sherwin. He was on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Milwaukee, it's time to turn the TV off and turn your speakers up so you can hear what the future leaders of the world have to say. Truth Nation, I'm proud to present the 8 Block, powered by City on the Hill and 101.7 The Truth, hosted by me, your boy, Ben Jammin. Every other Saturday at 9 a.m., 8 Milwaukee teams will share stories and laughs that will speak truth to what matters most in their lives.
I'm here to discover different levels about myself.
I'm really here to get my name out there of a different perspective on life.
So tap in every other Saturday at 9 a.m. Truth Nation, welcome to the 8 Block.
It's 101.7 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. For windows with the strongest resilience, you need the Pella Experience. The Pella Experience Center in Brookfield lets you see, feel, open, close, and compare dozens of windows and door options from 7 different Pella lines side by side. A friendly expert can go over Pella's endless possibilities for all price ranges, from colors to hardware to custom designs, ensuring you get the best possible look for your home. Pella truly believes that quality windows and doors don't have to be expensive. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the U.S., you get the look you want at a price you can afford. Stop by soon, because if you order by July 31st, you can get 0% interest for up to 5 years. Certain restrictions apply. Visit the Pella Experience Center in Brookfield. It's off Blue Mound Road, kitty corner to Cops, or schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Ever had a question about local services, neighborhood events, civic engagement, or ways to get more involved in the community and just didn't know who to ask? That is where 1MKE comes in. 1MKE is a nonpartisan coalition helping Milwaukee residents to find trusted information and easy opportunities to get civically engaged. Want to plug into a neighborhood event, find community services, give back through volunteering? 1MKE is here to help. Learn more and get involved and fill out their community feedback survey at 1mke.org. That is 1mke.org. We are 1MKE.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
Literally one call, that's all. I made one call and that's all, worry-free.
One call, that's all. It worked.
Just one call and that's all.
They will do what they say they're going to do. One call and that's all.
One call, that's all means security.
It's literally one call, that's all.
It's a phrase we'll never forget. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Join Outreach on Thursday, July 31st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. to learn how prenatal care, routine well child visits, and habits that empower parents for healthy pregnancy. Call 414-727-6320 to register today.
Hey, Wisconsin, are you feeling summer? Then it's time to feel cheesy. It's time to feel good. July 31st through August 10th, only at the Wisconsin State Fair. Presented by U.S. Cellular.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Yet another notable death in the city of Milwaukee. Beloved Milwaukee local music scene legend John Kuster, known as Kid Millions, died. He was 48 years old. A successful hip-hop career, owning Lotus Land Records and being a part of the operating team at Bayview's Wiggle Room are just parts of the legacy Kuster leaves behind. So I met John, what year is it, 25? Probably 25 years ago. So Lotus Land Records, which was a record shop that was in River West when I lived in River West, was opened up by one of my childhood friends, Andy Noble. And I used to go there and just kick it and just hang out. And I met John then. Loved by absolutely everybody. He committed suicide on Monday in a very, very public way, which I think illustrates his pain. He took his life by jumping off of the roof of the Trade Hotel, which is horrible on a whole bunch of different fronts, but he was just loved by so many people. And we always say, the same thing. You never know that somebody's troubled. They seem to be happy. They seem to be laughing. You never know what somebody's going through. Please offer your prayers to his many, many friends and fans and his family as well. Kuster's hip-hop career began in 1993 when he joined Bruce City 3Z's company. I think it's Bruce City 3's, releasing his first solo album, Words Get Around, in 2001. What else we got here, Mr. Kuster? Quote, "There is no one in all of rap music, Milwaukee and beyond, that rap like John," Radio Milwaukee Executive Director Jordan Lee said. "No one sounds like nor will ever sound like him." Kuster opened doors for countless aspiring artists, including Lee. Lee met Kuster more than 2 decades ago, and he told the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel that Kuster gave him his first ever paid DJ gig, opening for Kuster at the River West Commons. This trend, according to Lee, continued until the final weeks of Kuster's life. Kuster had a big impact on the Milwaukee community through these endeavors. Kuster also co-founded Dope Folks Records with Chris Schulist, co-owner of Bayview's The Vanguard and The Wiggle Room, in 2010. What was special about Dope Folks, and a testament to Kuster's knowledge and love of music, was its mission of seeking out and reissuing rare hip-hop records. And there's a long Instagram post here. It says, "I can't believe I have to post this." And this is from the people at Dope Folks Records. John Kuster, a.k.a. Kid Millions, one half of Dope Folks, passed away last night. I'm devastated and don't know what to think. It's unreal. You were on our label. John was probably who you talked to if you were on our label. We started Dope Folks Records 15 years ago over our shared love of unknown, obscure hip-hop from the golden era. I can't tell you how excited we got when we signed artists or discovered projects. What I'm saying is John was the driving force behind Dope Folks Records, and I can't believe he's gone. If you knew him, he was the real deal. Tell your friends how much you love them. This is the worst feeling. Big love to everyone that showed us support over the years. A lot of you we've never even met in person because we've dealt with you overseas. Either way, shout out to everyone that has supported us because we had so much fun doing it. I'm going to miss my partner so much. Thanks for listening, and I'm sorry for the awful news. The record community and the hip-hop community lost a true Milwaukee icon. Love you. Kuster's contributions of the local scene did not stop with the platform he gave to aspiring artists. Kuster was at everybody's shows all of the time. If you had a local show, he was going to be in the audience. So I was at the Wiggle Room, not last Saturday, but the Saturday before, and I was shocked that he was not there. In fact, I was there to see my friend that I grew up with, the guy that John started Lotus Land Records with, Andy Noble. Andy was actually spinning, and those two go back since we were in high school. And we figured that John would be there, but for some reason, he was not. Even after Lotus Land Records closed, Kuster kept his collections alive. Lee called him an Encyclopedia Britannica of records and a man, Lee also wrote online, who would literally open his home for people to buy records, talk about music, and be a part of the community. John Kuster, dead at the age of 48. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 3.
Here at the new 1017 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 1017 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices, Milwaukee Black Talk.
Crew Tuesdays are back on July 29th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes.
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Chicago Cubs.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness. Third down.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in July 29th at 6:40 on Fox 6 in Milwaukee, or check out your local listings to watch the game.
Truth Nation, let us talk our ish for a moment. There is no other station in the country where you get a front row seat to hear from some of the biggest names in politics, pop culture, and sports. People like Grammy Award winner John Legend.
Knowing that fight isn't over, knowing that we've got to stay motivated and stay inspired. Glory was a song that myself and Common wrote. Two brothers from the Midwest, from Chicago and from Springfield, Ohio.
Oscar Award winning actor Don Cheadle.
I know that we're the bright, shiny thing that sometimes gets the attention, but I would say don't listen to celebrities. You don't have to listen to us. Listen to yourself.
And President Donald Trump's son, Don Jr.
When did we have a strong economy? And I don't think anyone with a straight face can say right now. And the reality, when you look at it, it's not even voting for my father. Look at the team that's now surrounding him.
Tap into the award-winning and nationally recognized 1017 The Truth by downloading the Truth app and streaming us live at 1017 The Truth on YouTube. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with Black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday 48 count study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Oh, look who we have on line 1. We got to get to the bottom of who kept buying beers for Bob, and I have a feeling it was Al. You're on 1017 The Truth.
Well, I bought him one beer.
That's all you needed to do. Did you hear him when he called? He had to stop off on the highway and pee-pee. Took him 2 hours to get home. He had to keep pee-peeing.
Oh, well, you know, he should have just pulled over and opened the rear passenger door and opened the front passenger door and just stood in between and put the hazards on, you know, and just make sure you don't pee on the door. But, you know, Bob had a good time, but I only bought him one beer. But my bag on that.
All right.
The first thing I want to say, black men got to give the redneck mentality back to England because that's where it came from. And these young and old heads, they need to grow the F up because nobody wants to get old. The old heads, y'all supposed to set the pace for the young ones. Y'all supposed to be the men of finesse, fire, all that. Y'all got to pull your pants up because, you know, them overly tight pants, them chucks, and that chitlin booty you got, it's not working. And the young and the young ones, they need to pull their pants up because obviously nobody is teaching them about hygiene. Now, here's the other thing we need to understand. They're bright, they're smart, and they are intelligent. But they also have this word, free will. And if nobody don't want to do right, just let them shoot and kill each other. Because you can't save nobody who don't want to save themselves. Because all they're going to do is wait till they 30 and 40 and get saved and say they gave their life to Christ. Because, you know, Christ doesn't talk back. And the other thing that messes up these kids out here and these old heads, them Pearce, Xanax, rollers, and double dose. Because, you know, they got all that Route 66 coking and doping going all up their nose. They can't think right. So they are mentally frustrated. So they got to stop doing that devil's that. See, the body's supposed to be the drug, not your nose. See, when the body is the drug, it gives you it gives you that bonus of quad, because you can go anywhere, somebody will want it, and it will do something about your pride and how you look at life. But when you coked up and doped up, it puts you in another time. It puts you in another time warp. And before I go, I want to say this: hell cannot be all that bad, because you have a lot of people in heaven who don't want to be there. But what's going on right now, just let them shoot and kill each other. They'll figure it out because, Mr. Hughes, you can try to save them. And you know what they're going to say to you? They're going to say, old ass N-word, get the hell out of my face. Or if you are, or a senior try to talk to them, they're going to say, old ninja, BITC, get the F out my face. Let them kill themselves. Let them shoot and kill each other. Because, see, streets got to wear them out first to get them right. It ain't nothing you nor I can do, because when they look at us, they truly do not give 100,000 FUC, and you can add the last word. Have a good day.
Wait,
bye-bye.
Before you go, I got a question for you.
What's up?
How old is an old head? What age does that start when you become an old head?
An old head is anything that's over 40 years old. An old head is a person who wear them chucks, their pants are so tight that their pores is having strokes and palpitations and heart attacks. Old heads is when they have on them overly tight polo shirts and their stomach is sticking out like they 4 months pregnant and they about to drop. Old heads when they still trying to talk with that young language when they know they old as dirt and probably got great pubic hairs down there because a lot of them don't shave. Them are the old heads. Or you're seeing with a lot of gold on and a bunch of overly tight clothes and they have the snow bunny. And you always can tell an old head because they have their hat turned all the way to the side or all the way to the back and on the side. That's the dead giveaways of an old head. But then when you get them in the bedroom, they don't spit nothing but dust. Okay, have a good day.
Oh, thank you,
Bye-bye.
Al.
Devil's dust.
That cleared it up for me. Why do you have to scream devil's dust like that? Of all the other drugs he mentioned, they be on the perks, and they be on the jerks, and they be on the poppers and the roller. And the
devil's dust.
That was when he said it calmly that day. Today he was fired up about the devil's dust. Well, at least I'm not the full description of an old head. Some of that stuff did sound like me though. But I don't wear Chucks. I got on the Dukes today. Got these on. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk to Miss C. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. I got two things for Al. For one thing, people, when they go to heaven, they love it there. And another thing, God does talk to people. Sherwin, how did you enjoy it?
Enjoy what?
The wording.
Oh, it was beautiful. Oh, the poem. It was it was written like a novel. It should be the foreword in my upcoming book.
And also, I like to reiterate on something that Al just stated about how God doesn't talk to people. When I was writing that poem, like I said, as soon as I got off the radio, UNDT, immediately, God urged me to write that poem. So those words came directly from heaven. There's nothing I thought of. It just dropped on me immediately. He was just urging me on. And he dropped those words in my head. And I immediately, I'm visually impaired, recorded them on my recorder spontaneously. So for Al, for his business, God is reveling, okay? There was not a scripture in that poem. Did you read the poem to your audience?
I'm going to read it again.
Yeah, because he needs to understand that God is relatable. He is not all what people think he is. You know, he is holy, but he is relatable, very much so. And I want you to know that that was directly from God to you on a personal level.
I'm going to read it.
He knows you better than anybody.
I read a little bit of it the day you dropped it off, but I'm going to read the whole thing. So you trying to tell me this the word of God?
Listen, I ain't no joke. I'm a minister, okay? Oh. And I don't play with salvation. This is directly from heaven to you on a personal level, very much so. Those are God's thoughts of you, how he appreciates what you're doing, and how he loves you and cares about your studies and your research and what you are putting into the community. God is all in that. That's his wording, not mine.
I'm going to read
think
these.
About what to say. I didn't go ponder and do a little bit here and do a little bit there and do a little bit later on. That was all in one particular session.
Yeah. You said you recorded it because you don't see very good.
That's exactly right. That's how I do all my, and I got a poem book coming out, and you're going to get one of those. But anyway, this was directly from heaven. You heard what he said. You have been touched with the touch of the heavenly divine. God is all in you, brother, whether you know it or not. He's all in what you do. Yeah, he is very proud of you because that is directly from God. No matter what nobody think or say, God is with you. That was deep. I mean, and then after the show, when I gave it to you, he was just rotating, just saying the poem to me. Here it is, here, there. I was like, this was amazing. And I know it has blessed you because I can even hear it in your tone. But I just wanted you to know that that's God speaking to you directly. Okay?
Thank you very much. You just added so much more meaning to my poem, and I'm going to read it on the other side.
God bless.
All right, then. God bless you, too, and my poem. I just thought she just wrote it because she wanted to. I didn't know this is God's words. Okay, well, and she gave me a T-shirt. Vanessa, I think, was asking about. I have a T-shirt with this poem on it, too. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'm holding up a laminated placard of the poem. It's really long. So when I wear the T-shirt, and it's written on it's like, what do you call it? Like, not laminated on the shirt. It's screen printed on the shirt. And the poem is so long. When I put the T-shirt on, because I tried the T-shirt on, it's very soft cotton. It's a very good grade of cotton, the T-shirt that also displays the poem. It goes from my chest down to my belly. It's a long poem. You know, my belly kind of rotund, so as you're reading it, you got to kind of read around, you know what I mean? Because a brother's stomach ain't flat, you know? Speaking of which, there was a lady that came to Beyond the Mic. She said she doesn't call. She doesn't text. She's not on YouTube. I want to say her name was Teresa. She was sitting at the bar by herself, wearing like a hot pink like outfit, like a jumper. And did y'all see her rubbing on me? She was just a rubbing. She was rubbing on my belly like I'm a black Santa Claus. She was just rubbing. And she said, "Can I make a picture with you?" You know, old school people, they don't take pictures, they make pictures. Can we make a picture together? And then she was just a rub. It was actually kind of cute. But okay, I'm going to take a break, come back, and I'm going to do a special reading for you all of Wisdom and Knowledge Become You. Zach, can you zoom in on something real quick? There's like it's a little stick figure guy, and he's got a little sign that says wisdom. Hold on. Yeah, you see him right up there? Look. Look at what is he doing? Look at it. Wisdom, this way. You see the little sign? Wisdom. It was that me? The stick figure? Okay. Well, I'm going to take a break, come back. And it's a little stick figure on the wisdom this way. We're going to read the poem on the other side. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
This may be another Elon Musk bureaucratic shuffle, or this may be whatever it is. These, Dr. Ken, are real consequences.
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
I believe that there's going to be a step back and a rollback to some of those places that we're talking about making cuts because of the drastic outcome that can occur.
Sundays starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ and Mondays at 6 on 101.7 The Truth.
Are you or anyone you know looking for a new job opportunity? Attend the City of Milwaukee Job Fair on Thursday, July 24th from noon to 3 p.m. at 2 locations. Visit us at Sherman Park in the Mary Ryan Boys and Girls Club Baseball Diamond, located at 3000 North Sherman Boulevard, and at the Washington Park Band Shell, located at 4599 West Lloyd Street. Vendors from multiple employment sectors will be present to meet with you and share opportunities for hiring, training, upskilling, and more. We will also feature a live DJ, food and refreshments while supplies last, and the chance to make your next career move. Your success matters, and we are here for it. Brought to you by council members DeAndre Jackson and Russell Stamper II. Sponsored by City of Milwaukee, Milwaukee Common Council, City of Milwaukee Department of Administration, Office of Community Wellness and Safety, Northcott Neighborhood House, Fathers Making Progress, Northwest Side Community Development Corporation, State of Wisconsin DWD, Ross Innovative Employment Solutions, Goodwill Industries of Southeast Wisconsin, UMOS, DCMKE, 30th Street Corridor, Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Milwaukee, Milwaukee County Parks, Greater Milwaukee Urban League, Maximus, and Amplifier.
Escape the city and relax at Lake Lawn Resort in beautiful Delavan, Wisconsin. Enjoy outdoor activities on Delavan Lake. Tee off at the lakeside Majestic Oaks Golf Course or unwind at the award-winning Calidora Spa. With both indoor and outdoor pools, there's fun for the whole family. Take a cruise on the Lake Lawn Queen. Explore stunning shores and historic landmarks. And enjoy delicious food and drinks on board. Book your stay today at lakelawnresort.com, where everything is better at the lake.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, Wisconsin, are you feeling summer? Then it's time to feel cheesy. It's time to feel good. July 31st through August 10th, only at the Wisconsin State Fair. Presented by U.S. Cellular.
After a crash with a semi-truck, everything can change instantly. At Gruber Law Offices, we have the knowledge and experience to make sure you're protected. And we're here to help whenever you need us. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome back. I'm going to read the poem now. It is entitled Wisdom and Knowledge Become You. And it says, surely you are not antiquated. You are not old-fashioned, neither are you outdated. You're relevant for the present time and the moment. You're always substantial in your knowledge, your teaching, and your wisdom, your explanation, and your implementation. You is so antiquated. Okay. With all types of regulatory information that reaches to the impediment of one's very being, the mind resonates and relates to the present, current times and events. And whenever you speak, you can speak as a roaring lion, even as tender as a lamb, soothes whatever it is that we need to understand. You put grief in its place and you fill the mind with knowledge. You fill the heart with the beating of the sensitivity of time. You allow us to get the information that we need to sustain us, to keep us, to help us, to make us think, to enlarge our mental capacity, to bring us to a place where we can actually know and understand and relate to what it is that you're saying. You make it so plain that even those that don't have a sense of what it is that they should be doing or how they should be able to relate to the voice that you are speaking intentionally. We are the people that you are intentionally trying to get to understand what it is in this lifetime we are encountering. This mad and dreadful sense of reality that surrounds us and tries to always sway us and make us commit and submit to some things that we don't even dare dream. But we are here listening to you daily to see what it is that we should want to know and what we should do. We're willing and waiting for you day to day to see what it is that you have gathered from the table to make us sway in the time and capacity that are longing and leery and dreary and insensitivity that are so ever so present before us. We need an understanding that will reach us. You have the knowledge, you have the pen, you have the digital things that will put those things that we should be able to comprehend. You bring things so to life, you make things so revealing and relative that we appreciate you because you are one of those that have been reached and touched with the touch from the heavenly divine. Don't you ever feel like you are pressured? Don't you ever feel like you're not received? Because there are those of us that dare understand your dreams. We need you because you are what we need. We need what you have to help us see beyond sight. There is no vision beyond sight. There is no pathway beyond sight. There is no relative way. So we need you to keep us. Your knowledge is far-reaching and your mental capacity is outstanding. Boredom does not lie within your teaching. Sherwin, this is you. Wow, thank you, Miss C. That was a lot of stuff that I don't really think I am, but I appreciate God for writing this. All right, then. That's better than any WBA I've ever received. Now, see, I appreciate that. See there? Now I'm touched. I think I might even wear the shirt. But if people stop me to read the shirt, because a lot of the poem, because the way it's screen printed on the shirt is, you just got to stare at my belly. You know what I mean? You just got to stare at my midriff. I'm going to start working on this midriff here. I have this shirt that I haven't worn in a while, and I tried to put it on yesterday, and the buttons on that shirt were stressed, so I think I might need to. It's just so hard to start working out. Like, once I get into the routine, I'm golden, but damn, it's like right when I think, like, I'll have it planned, but man, I'm working out tonight. I know exactly what time I'm working out. I'll plan my whole day around my workout, right? Because I like to work out at night. Because I work out and I get my little shower, you know what I mean? And you're so relaxed after a good workout, and it helps me sleep, you know? And so it'll be workout time, 8 o'clock. And I've been knowing that I'm working out at 8 o'clock for the whole day. I'm like, I'm getting everything done, doing everything I got to do, because at 8 o'clock, I'm going to get me a nice workout. But what happens is I start getting sleepy at like 8:40 or 7:45. I just like, oh, man. Okay, maybe I'm going to wake up a little bit. Let me get up, move around a little bit. And I said, well, I'm going to lay down on the couch for a minute because I'm just a little tired. But then when I get up from this little rest on the couch, boom, I'm going to go work out. And then once you lay down, that's it. You don't work out. But I like that shirt, and I can't wear it. So this is what. We still got some summer left. It's July 14th. Give your boy a month. I'm going to try to be down a nice little 10 pounds. I went to the grocery store yesterday. I bought lots of healthy foods. I'm going to make my famous chickpea salad. I got me a good old watermelon from the Meejers. Benjamin was eating watermelon on air last week, and it just looked so good. So I got me a watermelon. I got me a big melon, too. I cut it up into pieces. Don't put salt on your watermelon. Don't do that. It's very disrespectful. God wanted watermelon to be salty. Make it salty. Watermelon is sweet and delicious. Don't put salt on that. Let's talk to Lana Banana. I bet you put salt on your watermelon, don't you?
No,
Good.
That takes away the flavor.
There you go. Exactly.
I want it's natural. I want to get the natural juices and flavor. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
And everything.
So good.
I love natural juices.
It does. I think Benjamin put lemon juice on his watermelon too. I think.
I wouldn't doubt it. He probably dipped it in chocolate for all we know.
Yeah, but how you holding up though? With all this that's going on.
I'm okay. Doing this line of work, you hear about it's so much of it over the years. It's been so much. John committing suicide, Miss Rose dying, Tweezy getting murdered, a little boy getting abducted. It was a busy weekend, but again, it's Milwaukee. Milwaukee will do this to you every now and again. This city will break your heart every so often.
Yeah, my brother's, dog passed away while we was on the phone, and, they was real close, had a beautiful relationship, just loyal, I love dogs, I do.
Do you have a dog?
And so we're going to, huh?
Do you have a dog?
I did, but she passed, and I can't do it again. I take the death so hard. No other one can replace my baby.
I know that's right. Amen.
Yes. But that was beautiful, Sherwin. The poem and the music in the background and everything, that was beautiful.
Thank you. It was. And when Miss C called in and said that she was anointed by God, that makes the poem even more special. And, of course, I had to play a track from my Blue Mist album in the background because it was fitting.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, but that reminded me of like I don't know if this pertains to the subject, but let me know, okay? I won't get offended. But this reminded me of when you were talking about when the slaves were brought here. The first thing that they were handed was the Bible. Was that the Holy Bible?
Yeah, I don't think
the slave Bible.
I don't know if it was probably King James. Well, Sunday was the only day that we got off because they used the Bible to indoctrinate us into servitude, that God loves and appreciates the good, obedient worker and slave. So that was a part of it, too. It wasn't just the stick and the whip and the rod. They also had to reinforce their dominance and superiority over words in the good book.
Yes, and I was reading I wasn't reading it, but it's a Bible, the Chiwahido. It's an Ethiopian Bible that has 88 books. And the Holy Bible, to my understanding, has 66 books, so 22 books were eliminated. And that makes me think of, the Bible when the master handed it to the slaves in order to govern the way they conduct themselves, to submit and obey. In the Bible, in that Holy Bible, whatever, it says no homosexuality, but then when the men got off the boat, then the master was raping in front of everybody. So it's like, they was all confused, and we don't know who we are, where we came from. But, it was parts of the Tuwahido that was saying that they were eliminated because it wakes us up and to know that we are powerful, we are the chosen ones, and we need to, get it together and just forget all that whitewash, stuff, because from my understanding, Julius Caesar made Jesus white, right?
All right.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
So am I on topic?
No, but that's all right. So I do know this. The Ethiopians were Christians before the Europeans, and Ethiopia, if I'm not mistaken, the only country in Africa, one of the only ones that was never colonized. They were starved, but they weren't colonized. I know this. On the western coast of Africa, where we are descended, there was no Christianity. And I just try and tell black folks that, but they get very upset that Christianity is an extension of slavery. And we only have it because our slave masters required it, because they used it to oppress us. Now, when I look at that in the modern context, why we still hang on to their version of Christianity is beyond me, but I also think that keeps black people in a backseat position because of our adherence. Like, nowhere else do you have the oppressor and the oppressed worshiping the same God. That's a very unusual situation that we find ourselves in still to this day, but I'm not going to have that argument with y'all because I'll lose it.
Yeah, and then, they just kept us confused, because how can you worship somebody that abuse you? That's confusing. But you're not. You're supposed to be kind to each other. And and the KKK, they burn the cross, but that's supposed to be the symbol of holiness, of godliness. You know what I'm saying? And then some people still hold on to the cross. So. What we need to do is we need to go and look at the rest of those 22 books that were eliminated, because Enoch is eliminated, Jubilees is eliminated, the Covenant is eliminated, and it talks about how Jesus was black, the disciples was black, the 12 tribes of Israel was black, and it tells you like where you from in Africa, which lineage you from. And I'm glad that my uncle told me before he passed that I have Ethiopian on my Baba side, and that's the lineage of the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon and the tribe of Judah, and it tells you no one's better than the other. They just have good qualities that work together, and it makes you feel good about yourself. We need to do that.
Or we should try something different. We should try walking by fact instead of walking by faith. Thank you, Lana Banana. I appreciate your telephone call.
You welcome. For be cool.
Oh, all right then.
Peace.
Oh, you be cool too then. All right. Benjamin, did you put salt on your watermelon? Don't do that. It's supposed to eat the watermelon without salt. It's all right now.
No, Sherwin. You're supposed to put salt in your watermelon, man. It helps all the electrolytes come out of it. It helps the minerals come out of the watermelon as well.
It's gonna make your pressure go up, dog. You can't put salt on a watermelon. Okay.
It depends if you eat too much salt, then yeah, your blood pressure is definitely going up. But salt
just a little. You just do a little sprinkle, just a little bit.
Yeah. I do the Salt Bay thing, just a little
Salt Bay, just a little sprinkle. Okay.
And it's Himalayan salt, by the way.
Was that the pink kind?
The pink kind.
Okay. Thank you,
that
Ben.
white Morton salt. Ugh.
Oh, no, not that kind. Got to have pink. I like pink. Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, let's take a break. My shirt's pink today, actually. I'm wearing pink. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Make sure you find us on YouTube and Spotify. How do they download the podcast? Like, where do they go? Spotify? Just go to Spotify. And if you can't listen to a show during the day because your boss is a jerk, you can go to Spotify and download it and listen at home. Play this show at your dinner table with your children around. Play this show for your spouse and they'll love you more. If you play this show while you're getting ready in the morning, you're going to have a good day. Turn on The Truth with Sherwin Hughes before you're about to get busy with your significant other, and it'll be even better.
Boing, boing, boing.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, you already know I got to put you on the latest hookup at Nick Avani's, and this one is big. All month long during July, Nick Avani's is running their buy one, get one for a penny sale. That's right. Grab one item and get another one for just 1 cent. We're talking top-tier fashion like suits, shirts, ties, shoes, and more that will have you stepping out looking sharp and turning heads. Some exclusions may apply, but the deal is real and only happening for the month of July. So don't wait and pull up to Nick Avani's on the second floor of Mayfair Mall and level up your wardrobe while this deal lasts.
This July 23rd, 3rd Street Market Hall will host a fundraiser benefiting the Milwaukee Police Department's Fallen Heroes Fund. Show your support and make a big impact on July 23rd at 4 p.m. at Venue 3 inside 3rd Street Market Hall. Honoring the life of Officer Kendall Corder, we invite you to join us and raise funds for all Milwaukee families affected. 100% of the proceeds will support the fund. Show your support and make a big impact on July 23rd at 4 p.m. at Venue 3 inside 3rd Street Market Hall. Visit 3rdstreetmarkethall.com for event information.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. Here is Dr. Ken Harris with his truth.
Juneteenth signifies the occasion in 1865 when the final enslaved blacks in Texas were notified of their liberation 2.5 years subsequent to the Emancipation Proclamation. The moment when 100% of victims of slavery finally recognized their liberation indicated the principles of the U.S. Constitution came to be universally applicable. This represents a success for Black Americans and a subsequent and significant point in American history, highlighting the nation's alleged dedication to liberty and justice for all. The recent verdict in the murder of Sade Robinson serves as a reminder of the enduring evils and oppression we still face. Despite independence, numerous blacks still encounter exploitation, and they are masquerading as freedom. Commemorating Juneteenth compels us all to acknowledge these realities and compel the nation's past and promote a truthful national narrative. Juneteenth, along with the murder conviction of the disgusting individual who killed Miss Robinson, serves not merely as a celebration, but also as a summons to action. Remember this history in your daily discussions and interactions. If Juneteenth caused the conflation of liberty and justice for Black America, I say one death represented by the murder of Miss Robinson is a denial of liberty and an injustice to all of Black America.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Listen to The Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris, weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I think we're on the verge of getting another crime bill. I don't know if we are, though, because I don't know if crime is up nationwide. I know it's up in Milwaukee, and I don't know if that's enough to trigger a nationwide crime bill, but I know that we need to be careful what we ask for, because as long as the Republicans still have control of the Wisconsin state legislature, you know, they love doubling down on more law enforcement. We already have more police coming. You guys know that? So there was a comprehensive bill. It was called Act 12, which allowed us to raise our sales taxes in order to raise more revenue for pensions and for the city to have money and more shared revenue, blah, 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 blah. But that came with a stipulation that we had to hire a certain number of police, and we have a time frame in which to do it. So for those of you that are wishing for more police because you're connecting more police with increased public safety, that is actually coming. In fact, if the city of Milwaukee does not hire this prescribed number of police, which I'm going to be honest with y'all, going to be impossible. And they set the bar so high at the number of police that we have to hire, recruit, train, and retain, that the city of Milwaukee is actually going to be in a worse position, because the additional money that we get, the additional shared revenue that we get, the state of Wisconsin can legally claw that money back. And Republicans like to claw money back. Like Donald Trump just clawed back over $30 million of money that was allocated to Milwaukee for an infrastructure project so we could fix 6th Street. So if we don't have, I think the number is 1650, 1750, one of those two, we have to have that number of police in a certain number of years. The problem is with Officer Corder and others that have been killed in the line of duty or injured, a lot of people don't want to sign up to be a police officer. It's hard to recruit. I think people have an appreciation for how dangerous it is, but prior to, so like in the last 7 years, we've had 6 officers die, either traffic related, gun violence, or other factors. But then prior to that, it was like 20 years where no Milwaukee police officers died in the line of duty. So it clearly is getting more violent, and it's not like the pay is going up. So we have to reach a benchmark, because I think some members of the public want more police. I know there's an article here, quote, "We need real action. Business owner patrons push for safer downtown after deadly shooting." And we're always very reactionary after there's a tragic event, after there's a shooting, high-profile murder of someone who is beloved like the community, like Mr. Antoine Hogan's. But know that this is the other unintended consequence. You just got to know this. Now, I'm not telling you to not want more police. When you get more police, you are strengthening their union. Not the union that police officers have amongst one another, their political power. You are strengthening their political power, and that may have its own set of unintended consequences as well when the police grow in political strength. We know in a Scott Walker signed piece of legislation called Act 10, the Milwaukee Police Department and the Milwaukee Fire Department, police and fire really all over the state, were exempt from some of the rules that were impacting other private sector unions. And that's because of the growing political strength of both firefighters and police. So just know that when you want more police, you may get them. According to Act 12, we are required to have more police. So don't worry, they're coming, assuming that we can recruit them. But they're also going to strengthen their political power as well. And just like teachers and the teachers union, the obligation of the union is not necessarily to make sure the public feels safer, but it's to represent their members. Police unions represent the police. Teachers unions represent the teachers. Teachers unions don't say, you know what can we do as a union to improve education? And maybe that's an unintended consequence. There may be some improvements in education. I don't necessarily see it, but they prioritize teachers. And teachers still, to this day, not just in Wisconsin, but nationwide, are white women. They still dominate who our teachers are when it comes to public instruction. So, FYI. And also, white women are the largest demographic group that voted for Donald Trump. All right, so now all this talk about police and needing police and public safety and all the other things, you know what I think it is? I think that you never hear white people in the suburbs because there's murders in the suburbs too. There's crime in the suburbs. You never hear them calling for more police. White people want more police in Milwaukee. There might be like a murder, suicide, or a killing or something, a homicide in Muskego, Mugwanago, New Berlin, Old Berlin, East Berlin, West Berlin, whatever the case may be. You never hear those white folks when they get interviewed about an incident that took place in their community saying, we need more police. You never hear suburbanites say that. Suburbanites want more police in Milwaukee because they feel like that's their own personal security, protection, and army when they go to a Bucks game or go to the Pabst Theater. Speaking of the Pabst Theater, I want to go to the Fresh Coast Jazz Festival, which is a series of jazz concerts and Edelweiss cruises on the Milwaukee River and Lake Michigan. They even are doing a wine tasting jazz event. You got a bunch of jazz musicians that are coming to the Pabst Theater. The tickets are $250. Now look here now. Damn it. Plus fees. I want to go see some jazz now. Jeff Lorber is coming. I love Jeff Lorber. I play Jeff Lorber's music on my show. Part of the influence for Blue Mist, my AI-generated jazz album, which is available now on Spotify. $250. Like the cheapest tickets are like $173. It's so expensive. What are you doing? Hey, anybody from the Pabst Theater, can we do a little trade? No, they ain't going to do a trade with us because the damn thing is already sold out almost. All right, let me see here. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics and the Police Contact Survey, which is the gold standard for this kind of data that I'm about to share with you. So who do you think are the most likely people to initiate contact with the police? It's white residents. White residents are the most likely to initiate contact with the police, followed by Black, Hispanic, and then Asian and other groups. So white folks are more likely to call the police, and we're a close second. For example, 26% of white respondents had contact with the police in any given year between 2021 and 2024. 26% of white residents had contact with the police compared to 21% of Black residents, 19% of Hispanic residents, and 20% of other races. This pattern has held steady in more recent years with only slight changes in percentages. The most common reason for residents-initiated contact is to report a possible crime, and about half of all such contacts are for that reason. In 2022, this is the latest year in which we have gender data, women are more likely than men to initiate contact with the police. Now, that makes sense. Now, if you were to guess, how large is that percentage difference between men and women? Because, like, when I think about women, I think women are calling the cops all the time for anything they see. Karens, just, I'm calling the police. I'm calling the police. You would think there'd be a huge difference between the percentages of women that call the police versus men. It's only a 1% difference. In the year 2022, 12% women, 12% were more likely than men, and 11% to call the police. Among all races, white residents still led police contact rates, both for calling and for being stopped by the police. Now let's look at violent crime victimization rates by race. This is actually really good. If you were to guess, I want you guys to get your little thinking caps on. But don't tie it too tight because you'll squeeze your brains too much. What race of people do you think is more likely to be a victim of violent crime? I want you to think. There's a lot of different races. There's many different races in the coalition of people. What race do you think is more likely to be the victim of violent crime? Think about that. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, I shall reveal the numbers. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. I'll be right back.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee, it's time to turn the TV off and turn your speakers up so you can hear what the future leaders of the world have to say. Truth Nation, I'm proud to present the 8 Block, powered by City on the Hill and 101.7 The Truth, hosted by me, your boy, Ben Jammin. Every other Saturday at 9 a.m., 8 Milwaukee teams will share stories and laughs that will speak truth to what matters most in their lives.
I'm here to discover different levels about myself.
I'm really here to get my name out there and have a different perspective on life.
So tap in every other Saturday at 9 a.m. Truth Nation, welcome to the 8 Block.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey everybody, it's Sherwin Hughes, and I got to tell you about one of my absolute favorite places in the city, Mr. B's Privileged Lounge, located on the northwest side of Milwaukee at 8617 West Brown Deer Road. Mr. B's is your go-to destination for comfort food, an incredible drink menu, and live music that keeps the vibes going all night long. So whether you're winding down or if you want to turn up, Mr. B's has the flavor, the energy, and the atmosphere you've been looking for. Mr. B's Privileged Lounge, privileged to serve.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Let's talk to the town. You're on 1017 The Truth. Hello. Going, and gone. All right. The town was on hold, but he didn't want to say nothing. All right, let me get to these statistics here. So, okay, who is more likely to be a victim of violent crime in America? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 years worth of data. Black people. No, let's start with the Hispanics. So this is crime victimization rates by race. And it says this is a good proxy for overall crime exposure in any given community. This is according to the Bureau of Justice Statistics National Crime Victimization Survey. So the BJS NCVS. Per 1,000 people, 18.4 Hispanics are victimized by violent crime. per 1,000 people. Black people, 19.4 black people per 1,000 are likely to be victims of violent crime. And look at the whites, those who age like bananas. That wasn't nice. That was horrible. I heard some comedian say it. A white lady said it. She's like, us white people age like bananas. Sometimes I feel pressure to eat my bananas so I don't make banana bread. And people always say, oh, Sherwin, don't throw those overly ripe bananas out. Make banana bread. I don't make banana bread because my bananas are ripe. I just got to all of a sudden get a banana bread recipe. Do I look like I bake? I eat baked goods, but I don't bake. 19.8 violent victimizations per 1,000 white people. So even though the statistical difference, it seems small, so black people, 19.4 black people per 1,000 African Americans are going to be victims of violent crime, with white people being 19.8 victimizations per 1,000 white people per year, is like hundreds of thousands of more victimizations. White people are much more likely to be harmed by other white people than white people are likely to be harmed by black people. But because of the racial animosity that is a cornerstone of what America is, white people think that they're going to be disproportionately harmed by us, and I think they may overlook the fact that statistically they harm one another. And these are incidences that are reported. There's also a stigma that exists amongst some whites. If there's an issue where the police probably should be called, and if it's a situation that involves their family, a lot of times they don't call the police at all. So the victimization of white people could potentially even be higher. The safest people are the Native Americans, the Asians, and other Pacific Islanders. They only have 9.8 incidences of violent victimization per 1,000 people in their population. Robbery rates are higher for black people. 2.8 robberies per 1,000 African Americans. 2.5 robberies per 1,000 Hispanics. White people, that number is 1.6. But because there are more 1,000 groups of white people, their 1.6 number, while it's lower, overall the aggregate is higher. Simple assault is higher for white people, 13.3 per 1,000. For black people, it's 11.3. For Hispanic, it is 10.6. I posted a video of some white dudes fighting on a golf course. It's so funny. Bang! Bang! Enough! Leave me alone! White boys be fighting, don't they? They fight. They don't shoot as much. But they still beef. We think that like powerful white people, that they all get along. No, the hell they don't. We also think that the problem is black people, like black on black crime. There's plenty of white on white crime. It's a ton of it. We also, as black people, I think we believe a fallacy that white people don't argue, that they all get along. Tell you what, go to a rally. Go to a rally of liberal, progressive Democrats and listen to how they talk about Trump supporters. They're worse than us, actually. So let's clear that fallacy up that white people all get along. No, they don't. They may coalesce around racial issues because they all collectively probably don't want us moving in their neighborhoods, and they probably don't want our kids going to school with their kids. But no, white folks don't get along with each other. White residents are more likely to call or contact the police than any other racial group, even though their overall violent crime victimization rate is about the same as black residents and slightly higher than Hispanic residents. Black and Hispanic communities experience higher rates of certain violent crimes like robbery, but less likely to initiate contact with the police compared to white communities. So white people are victimized more and call the police more. Asian and Pacific Islander communities have the lowest rates of both police contact and violent victimization. So let's be Asians then, right? Asians and Pacific Islander communities have the lowest rates of both police contact and violent victimization. Well, then I identify as Asian. I know they got delicious food. I tell you what, really anywhere in Asia, the food is delicious, except Russia, because Russia is in Asia. What do Russians eat? Pierogies? I'll eat a pierogi. You ever had Korean barbecue? Oh, top notch. What else? Well, don't get me started on Chinese food. What'd you say, Zach? What else? And Indian food? Stop it. Don't you dare. You can buy this coconut curry chickpeas. It's already prepared. It's in a pouch. And you just make some jasmine rice with it. You throw on a little cilantro, add a little extra cumin to it. Come on now. Stop playing with me. Stop joking around. Tell me about Indian food. The Asians got the best food on the planet. The Greeks ain't bad either. The Italians, fine, honorable mention. You get some. The Italians. What the English people got? A damn shepherd's pie. I don't even know what's in there. Probably a shepherd. No, it's in no damn shepherd's pie. Okay, fine, Mexicans. Okay, sure. Mexican food. Okay, Taco Tuesday. I get it. Caribbean food? Too many plantains. Not a fan of the plantain. A plantain should taste more like a banana, but it doesn't, and it throws me off. It looks like a banana, not a banana. I don't like stuff that looks like a food and then doesn't taste like it. I find that to be very disappointing. Can't do a plantain. I've had sweet plantains before. Bel Air Cantina does a sweet plantain. They put like chocolate on it and whipped cream on it. I can't do it. I can't. It's not right. I want my bananas to taste like bananas. I'm not a plantain person. Jamaican food, fine. I'll give you your jerk chicken. Fine. However, the curry goat, can't do it. I'm not going to eat any damn goat. I can't eat goat. Goats are filthy, filthy animals. I think I might have had like some childhood trauma with a goat. Like I might have went to a petting zoo or something and one of them little bastards like bit me or something. And goats smell terrible, which is weird because pigs smell worse. But I like bacon more than I like some people. I can't eat a goat because I don't want to eat an animal with horns. Well, I guess steer have horns. Huh. What have we learned today? I think that if the trends continue, we may get another updated 1994 crime bill. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.
People need people, whether in Junior Achievement's BizTown, where students work together to run a city, or in the real world, where blood donors can help save lives. Join Junior Achievement of Wisconsin and Versity for a mobile blood drive on Tuesday, July 15th from